All right, what's up, everyone? Everyone that's tuned in, this is the CPDL Champions Path Draft League Season 3 Post-Draft Team Breakdown. We're going to, me, Fox, Gopher, Tom, and Tyros are all going to be breaking down this season's teams that are all participating. There's 24 of us, and giving you guys all the good, positive things and even some of the negatives, so you guys can kind of see what you guys want to, what people think about your teams, or if you might need to make a change before either week one or before you get into other matches deep into the season. And yeah, we'll do a full breakdown. How it's going to work is I'll start it off with the first team and give my kind of 2 cents of what I see, and then whoever wants to join in after that can put their little 2 cents in what they see. If I don't kind of think of something that they're thinking, and then we kind of go from there. And then we'll go me, and then we'll go Fox, probably the next one. I'll tell everyone who's going to break down the next team, and then we'll kind of all implement after, and then either Tom or Tyros, and then kind of go that way. We are doing reverse order of the power rankings, so we're starting with the 24th best team according to Fox's power rankings, according to how he felt the team's strength were. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So it's gonna go 24-1, and then we'll do week one predictions for the week one matches. We'll do playoff predictions, who we think's gonna make playoffs, and we could all have different answers, and then that'll be pretty much it. So we can kind of get started. If someone is not loud, or if you guys can't hear him in the chat, please let me know so I can turn the volume up on Discord. Let me actually make sure everyone has decent sized volume. I think that's good. Just to check, Fox, say something.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Okay, Tom, you say something?
Hey, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Tyros?
Hey, what's going on?
All right, cool. All right, so we will, let's just get right into it. So first on the list, which is our 24th best ranked team, is the Berkeley Bulbasaur. It's the first coach in the West, Pops. He ended up picking Tapu Fini with his first pick, and also grabbed Incineroar as another S tier, along with Grimmsnarl to round out his S tiers. Then decided to go for Alola Marowak and Tapu Bulu for the A tiers. Then he went to B, which he picked up Drifblim and Buzzwole, then Lopunny at C tier, and then his free picks, I already mentioned Grimmsnarl, but he also picked up Galarian Articuno, Azelf, and Butterfree. So my initial thoughts going on this team is it's very, it's kind of all over the place. I think that's probably why it's ranked one of the lower teams, because there's not really a very strong core that stands out. You have strong individual mons with Grimmsnarl, Fini, Incineroar. Incineroar, Fini are obviously super prevalent in the ladder scene, and even Grimmsnarl. But besides that, there's not really much that people are going to be used to. So it's going to be a lot of off-meta Pokemon that you're not really going to see. You never really see Azelf. You never really see Tapu Bulu on ladder. So I think that's really interesting and really cool. I think you can do a lot of cool things with it. But it kind of makes it hard to rank this team very high, I think. Grimmsnarl, obviously, I had it last season on my championship team, and it's so good. Its versatility is unmatched. It can do screens. It can hit people with Spirit Break and lower special attack, trick people. You'll never really know what item it runs to start, so it's can be very interesting to deal with. Incineroar with the Intimidates. He's got 2 terrain setters, which is very interesting. Most people don't even have one, and you can pair that with Drifblim, which I love. He kind of gets that instant speed control with Drifblim being able to get Tailwind. Drifblim's already at base 80 speed, but with the Unburdened speed boost, he'll basically be at base 160, and then he can easily get a Tailwind. He can get off a Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, hit Shadow Balls to start. So Drifblim, I think, is awesome. I love Drifblim. I think it's a great pick. I think low pony's pretty slept on. We saw last year how Fox used it, and it's a very slept on C tier, and I think it's going to put in a lot of work. Do you guys have anything else to say about this team?
I think Drifblim is.
Oh, go for it,
Go
Fox.
ahead, Tyros. You got it.
So I think Drifblim is great on this team as well. With 2 terrain setters, they can get the Unburden up real quickly. I don't know really how Azelf plays a big role in here. I really like the Mon, but it's super weak defensively. So without Rage Powder, Butterfree, which you're only going to get 1 or 2 of those off, I think it just kind of dies. And is also that's the fastest thing I think on his team. So the speed tiers are kind of mid level, which I had a problem with that last year. So that might be an issue here as well.
I want to hop on that point with Azelf, because Articuno is his other Trick Room setter, and I believe it's a base 115 speed. So both his Trick Room setters are super quick. So that's going to play a factor when you are setting a Trick Room, or if you want to get that Marowak in it, because most of the time, Marowak operates better in Trick Room. And another thing I just wanted to say about this team, too, is the G-Max Mons in Butterfree and Grimmsnarl don't mix well with Tapu Fini. So I don't know what he was going for there. Because Grimmsnarl wants to yawn people, which you can't do with Tapu Fini. And Butterfree wants to also status them, which you can't do with Tapu Fini with the Misty Surge out there. So there's a lot of things. If he pulls it together, because there are some good combos on this team. You said the Drifblim. There's a fake out. You could get the Trick Room up, because he has a lot of fake out support in Grimmsnarl, Instant, and Lopunny. So he can do this well. And I'm excited to see what he ends up doing with it.
Fox?
And then I was just gonna say that my real concern with these teams, there just really aren't many sweepers. Like you look at it, there's a lot of support, right? I mean, the S tiers are Incineroar, Grimmsnarl, Penny, which I wouldn't really consider Penny a sweeper, but it's more like a solid, second option. But when you kind of are top heavy on support like that, you're not really trying to put out a ton of damage with those. Right, it gets kind of tricky. Like Marowak is good, hits hard, but it's really easily crippled. Bulu, obviously missing the grassy glide doesn't help. Buzzful can't take an airstream. So like there's good options, like we said, but I just think that if they're being supported doesn't necessarily lend them to like set them up super well for success. And that was kind of my reason.
No, I think that's pretty valid. That's the Berkeley Bulbasaur and Pops' team. It's the first team of the West. And then now we'll move on to the next team. So in 23rd we have Jinx Jolt with the Joltade with the Jinx Jolt. The first coach in the East that's being introduced. Fox, we'll let you start off here.
Yeah, so I actually after the draft I asked Jolt. I said, what's the deal? Like, what
are you doing?
What's your team? Because he asked me. Well, no, he asked me. He's like, what's your opinion? And I said, well, what are you trying to do? And so what I kind of got was there's a lot of like potential weakness policy procs here with the Comfey, which he's not wrong. I mean, like there's good stuff there. You get the Blastoise, the Mammoth Line, the Guzzlord, which is all well and good. But there's very little speed control. I mean, like you've got the Coco and you've got the Raichu, which was with the Surge Surfer, very very fast. You got some good redirection with Togekiss, potential fake out with Torcat. But I just feel like if you are too fast or too slow, you can really get taken advantage of. And yeah, Comfey gets Trick Room. Yeah, Comfey might get Tailwind. But like, what else? Like where else is the speed control coming from? Like if I'm able to neutralize Comfey really early on, how toast are you? You know what I mean? So I just feel like this one was kind of like there are good options and there's good stuff that can be used. Like Mamoswine is good, but it's frail. Blastoise is good, but doesn't put out the damage. Same thing with Coco. Like it'll hit hard, but does it take the hits? Selly's a beast. Selly can be good. Obviously I like Guzzlord a lot. Beast Boost is kind of a crazy ability, but there's just like not a ton of things here that I love. Like they're good picks individually, but as a unit, as a team, it seems very, very reliant on weakness policy proc stuff. And if you can stop the weakness policy procs, you can probably shut this down.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree. Tom?
Yeah, so he only has a G-Max Blastoise, which I love, though. with the residual damage there. The G-Max Blastoise is a big player because it was the Season 1 KO leader, if I'm not mistaken. And then I
Yes, it
like the
was.
fake out pressure. I like the Trick Room setters. My favorite pick was Comfey. He's like, I want Comfey. I have a plan. And he got his Pokemon. So that's like, and then again, Fox, you mentioned you compare it with the Blastoise and the Guzzlord, the Coco Raichus, all like obvious one. I don't know what Hitmonlee's doing there. So I'm real curious to see what he does with the Hitmonlee. And then the sleeper of his team, in my opinion, though, is that Mamoswine. Because Mamoswine, especially in this restricted format, we didn't see it get picked up last year. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. So if he uses that thing well, I'm excited to see what he can do with it.
Tyros?
I think Togekiss is probably his biggest asset on this team with the redirection and its versatility. And if he can get one of the beasts going, either Guzzlord or Celesteela, I think he can do some real damage. I agree with Fox. I think that there's some the weakness policy. I think plays a big role on this team. If you can stop it, you can shut it down. But there's some cool things that you can do here.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Togekiss is definitely his biggest threat. If you're using it offensively, I had it last season, and it's a menace when you put on like a scope lens and do a super lock and just run Quick Kiss. There's very little that can deal with it. And then the Mamoswine being able to proc certain policies, Comfey being able to beat priority and proc policies as well. I think Celesteela is kind of as good as it is. It's a little bit of a weird pick here. Not because of his typing, but because he doesn't really have anything that can deal with what hurts it. Like he has the Mamoswine, sure, for electric types, but it's one Pokemon. If he doesn't get it's not like it's going to redirect anything. So that's my only issue. And then the Guzzlord, I know Fox had it last year. And it is a tank, but it also is 4 times weak to Fairy, and it just dies like very quickly if you have a strong Fairy user. But there's a lot of potential here. I think it's interesting to know that Hitmonlee, although it's not very strong, you could throw a weakness policy on it. I saw a Night Guard put a weakness policy on Hitmonlee and use like the Fletchling he had on his team and used priority Peck to proc weakness policy. I can see it doing the same thing with like Comfey, draining kissing the Hitmonlee, having weakness policy on that. You have the weakness policy on Guzzlord, Blastoise. There's a lot of things you can do here. So I think it has potential, but definitely I think still
he's playing hide the weakness policy.
Yeah, there's
when you go up against him, you got to guess which mon has it.
For sure. I do like the Blastoise pick here. I think that the Blastoise is a really good mon. I think the residual damage over time is something that should be utilized a lot because it's hard to beat. You're doing 1/6 of damage over the course of 4 or 5 turns, whatever it is, and putting a weakness policy on Blastoise to begin with is going to be pretty nice too. And it's got bulk, it's got fake out, shell smash next to Togekiss is going to be real nice. So there's definitely potential here. And then you got the Coco for using Electro Web. You can put screens on it. It's pretty fast. The electric terrain setter with the Raichu is neat too. So it'll be interesting. But yeah. All right. So number 22 here we got Caleb, another East Coast. Another East coach with the Charlotte Vespiquen. So I'll let Tom start off with this one.
Yeah, I really like Caleb's team composition, and I'm happy I'm not playing him this season because he's got a lot of shenanigans going on. I see that Ditto pick late. I'm like, oh my god, that's so much fun. That's awesome. You know, you see that late. That's a great pickup late. But his top 3 picks in Feeny, P2, and Conkeldurr, and then even include Ferrothorn. Those are elite picks in the top 4. If you don't prep for Ferrothorn, it's hard to beat. You need a Fire-type move on your team every week. That takes up one of the slots. You only get, there's 4 Pokemon, 4 slots each. It's 16 moves. One of them has to be a Fire-type if he brings that Ferrothorn. So prepping for that's awesome. You know, it's like you need that. He knows that, so he could take advantage of that if he brings that. I love the Trick Room setters and the P2 and the Mod. We saw Fox use the Galarian Mr. Mime last year wonderfully. So that's a thing that gets Ally Switch, Fake Out, Trick Room. One thing that does stand out to me too is one of the teams with 0 G-Max Pokemon. So I went into this draft like, G-Max Pokemon give you an added thing. You know, you can run it with or without. And that's something your opponent has to prep for. So he has none of the G-Max mods, which is interesting to me. And I'm curious to see if any of the free agents are worth picking up at this point. I haven't looked at that. That's something I should have checked. And then I want to talk about the combo I really like, though, the Drifblim and Feeny. The Unburden with the Misty Seed. That's something he really, really needs to take advantage of. And I like this team composition. I'm glad I'm not playing Caleb this season.
Anyone else? So before anyone talks, actually, so we'll try to go through these a little bit quicker, just because for time purposes. So I probably won't ask each individual person if they have something, but if anyone has like one or two things, feel free to say it after the first person talks.
I just want to add on to what I'm talking about real quick, actually, because he brought up the Finny Drifblim. But what do you do with Finny Drifblim? Like, now you've got it. You're in misty terrain. You can't even fast hypnosis people, right? Like, that's a concern that I have.
Yeah.
You can set the fast tailwind, but then you have to switch out Finny because, like Finny, like we said, like I mentioned before, like Finny is not the sweeper you want. It's a bulky water, you know, and the bulky waters don't sweep. I like his Trick Room mode. Call their Ferrothorn really good. P2 is a solid setter, but I feel like it's just like, again, it's almost kind of like you get past those two and you're fine. Like, Heatran can do some stuff, Salamence can do some stuff, but like that's it. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of locked into like these are my sweepers, and if you can't beat them, then I win. But if you can't beat them, then I don't. Like, is there an answer there? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the first thing I saw was the Finny and Drifblim. I think that's like the biggest glaring thing is, sure, you get the Unburden proc, but a big thing with Drifblim that I used season 1 when I had it was statuses. Thunderwave, Will-O-Wisp, Hypnosis. You can't use those anymore unless you're facing a flying type, which you can't really count on that from week to week. So that's just a concern I have, but I agree. I think the Trick Room mode is his bread and butter, but is he going to be able to get it up consistently each week without a redirection user? All right, so we'll go to the next team. So for number 21, we have the New York Rilla, another East Coast, so third East Coach, Silver Broom. Fox, this is your boy, so I will actually let you take this one to start, and then Tyros, I'll give you the next one.
Okay. I'm fine if I get skipped over on the next one too. No big deal. Yeah, so the interesting thing about this team, and it's the same as my team, is that there's only 2 S tier, and that's Landorus T and Amoonguss. While both of those are very, very solid bonds, there's some concern. Just because, you know, like Amoonguss isn't putting out damage, Lando's more of like the pivot into him, but like you can get the sword stance off, obviously. But it kind of like falls off, right? But you've got a lot of good A tier. I think that's maybe where like there's potential, right? Hydreigon puts out a lot of damage. You can Earthquake with it next to Lando because of the Levitate. Gotham Tail for Trick Room, Fake Out. Snorlax is a monster, Ansem monster. Get Gastrodon, which would be the water types. You know, Bisharp's kind of a niche pick, but it's strong. So like I think there's a lot of good individual mons on this team, but I think the thing that we're kind of seeing here is there's problems with synergy, right? What do you set next to Durant? What do you set next to Hydreigon? That's really like protecting. You know what I mean? Like Lando's not going to stop up a fairy type from blasting. Durant could, but then you're not maxing either one of those. So it's like you kind of got you've got a lot of cool stuff here. There's a lot of like dark in this team. You know, the Bisharp on there, Hydreigon's on there. I always think Goth is second. You got like the dark states going on, which is fine. I think Snorlax is probably going to end up being like kind of the pickup for this team, like the MVP, like turn force pickup, because it's Snorlax. And you do have the follow move, and Moongus get a belly drum up. watch out for Snorlax. That's kind of all. That's all I really. But I think there's just some issues with some synergy here, and we may be proved wrong, and I love being proved wrong, but I just don't see all of it coming together 100% down the line.
I agree. Anyone else got anything?
Yeah, the only Gmax is Snorlax. The only fake out user's got the tell. It doesn't have any terrain, no weather if I'm not mistaken too. So I'm very curious to see what he's doing. And he does have one of my favorite Pokemon, No One Blaziken. So I'm excited to see him use that.
Tyros?
I want to see Shreninja get at least 1 kill. I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Yeah, I think one thing I will say, Snorlax as a B tier was just pretty dangerous. I think everyone could agree that it was very low. It was tiered very low, so getting Snorlax at B tier is kind of a steal. And pairing that with like Amoonguss, even Gothitelle if you use it right, can be kind of scary. Yeah. All right, so next we got number 20, which is the New Jersey Rumble. New name, new team for another East coach, United Away. Tyros?
First, I gotta say, United, I absolutely love your logo. It's super awesome. And United was actually on the call with us for a bunch of the draft, and he kind of like talked through a bunch of his picks. I really like his team. I really like the Alakazam Indeedee. I think that can do some super cool things with expanding force. I don't really like Dracovish. I think there's better water guys out there, and there's no sand real set around here for him to utilize the sand rush. The Doug Trio, Arena Trap, and a Terrakion I think is also really cool, as well as the Ninetales Charizard. But a lot of these guys, I think, are really, really want the focus sash. Like Noivern, Gengar, Alakazam, Ninetales. I think that's probably one of the biggest weaknesses on this team.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's a big concern. I think you got a lot of good pairs. You do Noivern, Dracovish, you do Charizard, Ninetales, Doug Trio, Terrakion, but that's where you're done. So like once you get through the two of them, you just got to beat the next pair. So if you have counters to each pair, I don't think you're in trouble. That was the only.
Yeah, I'm actually playing in week 1, so it's been a pain to prep for each pair. So I'm like, okay, I need this for that, I need this for that. The Doug Trio Terrakion's an interesting combo. Indeedee and Alakazam, he's probably so happy he got that, because that's a great pair. Again, with less terrain setters, it's hard to stop that terrain when you have those two high special attacker, Alakazam being so quick too. He has Fake Out Mons, an Obstagoon, and Indeedee, the Trick Room setters, and the Prison setter with Gengar. So I'm excited to see what he does. And then one Mon we haven't mentioned yet is Garchomp. The Garchomp, I think, is a sleeper of his team, and I'm excited to see what he does with that as well.
Yeah, you can't sleep on Garchomp.
All right, so next here we have the Sitting Ducks, another East Coast, number 17. Don't get it confused. He's the number 19th ranked team on here. Number 17 is the player, the coach's name. So here, I personally am not a huge fan of this team, just because I don't really see like a lot of like huge threats. I think he added Kartana before I kind of made my diagnosis of this team. Kartana is a very scary pick. It can snowball real quick. I had it last season, but the 4 times weakness to fire is definitely concerning. He's got the Urshifu Rapid Strike to kind of pair with that Kartana to deal with a lot of the fire types that could be hitting Kartana very hard. Being able to crit using Surging Strikes, hitting crits for 3 straight moves at 25 base power, which might seem low, but it's really strong. And then Other than that, Galarian Moltres, he doesn't really have, in my opinion, much to pair that with. And then same with Rotom Heat. There's no. I guess he has redirection with Togetic, but again, it's a pre-evolution. You can throw an Eviolite on it, and it gets pretty bulky. But other than that, it's straight support. It doesn't have any offensive output. Thwacky is very similar to pre-evolution. I'm not a huge fan of pre-evolutions unless we're going to be putting a lot of both offensive and defensive support, like P2 does. And then again, Kanto Weezing. I don't see really how it pairs well with this team at all, especially not having Regigigas. I think that was, in my opinion, that's where I saw Kanto Weezing making sense, was having the Gigas. And then the Alolan Ninetales, again, it doesn't really pair well with anything here, in my opinion. I could be wrong. He could be hiding something that I'm not sure of, but I think individually the pieces on his team are super strong. Galarian Moltres, super strong. Rotom Heat, super strong. I think Crobat's a really good tailwind setter, and can do some really cool things. Urshifu, Kartana, super strong. But it's doubles. You have to kind of rely on another partner in a sense. So I'm not really sure what's going to be a good pair here. It'll be interesting to see, I think, but I'm just not seeing it here.
He has so many fire type weaknesses. There's so many.
4,
And
5,
then,
1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4.
well, the double I'm counting Fluffy, I guess, too. So in my mind, you can't even. And then, yeah, I'm like the logo with the question marks over my head looking at this team composition. I'm wondering where he's going to go, and I'm excited to see it. And again, you said it, you hit the nail on the hammer. They all are strong mons, but where do they fit together? That's all I really got to say on this one.
I think the redirection of Togetic is kind of necessary to pair with the Rotom Heat and Galarian Moltres for the nasty plot boost.
So that nasty plot.
But again, like, you're only really having one big threat here on the field at a time. Like, you know that Togetic isn't going to put any offensive power in, so you can kind of you can do some stuff to deal with the Rotom Heat and Galarian Moltres. You can get Dazzling Gleam to hit Galarian Moltres super effective, and then ignore the redirection essentially. Rock Slide for Rotom Heat. Even Surf if you want to do, I guess, but I don't think many people run Surf really. Heat Wave for Kartana. So like the redirection is good, but there are like the weaknesses you have. There are moves that can kind of get around it. So it'll be interesting. I think he has some surprises in store, but I'm not really just looking at it. I've never used some of these mons, so I'm not 100% sure. It'll be interesting to see. I think he'll surprise us. I'm hoping.
Me too.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I think the biggest problem, at least for we lost Reggie. Now you have this Weezing that's not doing.
I agree. All right, number 18, we got Texas Tornadus with another West Coast Snom. Fox, you want to take this over?
Yeah, sure I can. So my main issue, and I'm not gonna lie, my main issue is I just don't think Gigas Weezing is that good. It's Regigigas is really, really solid, really strong mon, but without Weezing, it's not as good. But Stom did mention last night that that's why he picked up the Swoobat for the simple beam, which allows it to get the double boost, and then it does lose the slow start. So that's something to consider. But that's kind of easily beaten by redirection. So take that for what it is. My main problem is there's a Mudsdale, and the Mudsdale really would appreciate some Trick Room, but there isn't any Trick Room to be found here, which to me is an issue. I think that there's some solid stuff. You could drop Torn next to Gyarados or Zapdos, and just go. And I mean, even if you could drop it next to like Moltres, you could pick up some cheeky KOs really fast. I think our man is a really solid opener. You have to address it, or it's going to flop you right in the face. I wish that there was a little bit more weather. Like if he had some stuff that can take advantage of weather with the Tornadus, that would be fun. Like Rain Dance, something like that would be cool. So I think there's good pieces here, but I think that overall the team just wants to go fast, and in order to do that, you have to lead the Tornadus, you have to set the Tailwind, or it wants to go Gigas, and that's going to be Gigas Weezing or Gigas Sweetback. So your leads are a little bit predictable, and that's I feel like that's a little bit of an issue. I mean, you could go other directions with it, right? Starman up front with Zap, I mean that would be something, but it's just if you could set up for beating those two leads, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
I know someone just said in the chat to 5 flying types. So if I'm facing this team, I am 100% bringing a rock type. And that's doing double damage on the birds.
Or electric. So, he doesn't have redirection for lightning rod, so.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I think the guys down below, Moltres, Gyarados, Zapdos, I think those are some cool support guys. Or maybe trade something out to get a Trick Room, or maybe like trade Weezing out for an elite Trick Room could definitely change some stuff up on this team.
Yeah, no, you got to keep Weezing for that Reggie, but I would trade one of the Kanto birds, not Zapdos. Probably Moltres. What is Moltres doing for this team, really? It's another weakness to rock. It's another weakness to electric. It is a fire-type Pokemon. You don't have any other fire-type support, really. So, yeah, this team's interesting. I like Snob. He's a good battler, so I'm excited to see what he does with it, because I think he could pull some tricks out of his hat with this one.
Snom is definitely a super interesting battle. You never really know what you're going to expect, so I wouldn't count him out for running 5 flying types and still finding a way to kind of trick you here and there. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how he does, and I think he definitely could use a trade or two, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, so here we got Vegas Victini, so the West Coast coach and also runner-up and former champion of Season 1, Fox Gopher. Fox, I will actually ask you to not have any input on your team. Don't say anything about any certain tech. I want it just to be pure. I don't want you to have to give any hints away about your team, so just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Oh, I will.
All right, Tom, you want to break this down?
Yeah, so I look at this from the start. He only has one G-Max Mon, which we already mentioned, the Corviknight, which he didn't even draft. He picked up after, I believe, too. And we got no terrain setters, no weather setters, and we do have 2 fake-out Mons, though. So I'm excited about that. His first 3 picks were interesting, though, because the first 3 picks of Spectrier, Celesteela, Tapu Lele, and you know what? I'm going to go forward with Dragonite, too, because those are 4 monster picks right there. They ended up dropping the Lele for the Corviknight, I believe. The Spectrier is awesome. If you could get that Spectrier going with that Grim Neigh, who's a special attack with the Beast Boost, and we saw how much he liked using the Beast Boost with Guzzlord. Now this is a better Guzzlord, essentially, with better typing, I mean. Celesteela also has Beast Boost, a scary Pokemon to go up against. Again, you need a Fire-type move, you need an Electric-type move to take that thing down. And then the Dragonite is something I'm very scared of, and I have on my team as well. So I'm excited to see how he runs it, because I got some tricks up my sleeve, and I believe he does too. Again, if you want to get into Trick Room, though, you got to use Bronzong. And then if he does want to go into Trick Room, you know that Rhyperior is coming out. So that's a dead giveaway from the team preview. So that's something you want to watch out for. This team's not as dependent on Trick Room as it was last year. And then the Spectrier Heatran one combo I really want to look out for too. But the Spectrier Heatran is something I think is going to be nasty. If you go Bulldoze, Weakness Policy, Heatran. And then another Pokemon I got a sleeper is Swampert. You don't see Swampert a lot in the ranked battle, so I'm excited to see what he does with it this year. So that's all I really got on his team right now. And I'll kick it to Tyros Bhanny, whoever. Yeah.
Tyros, I'll let you go before I lay into him.
I think my favorite pick on this team is Mandibuzz. I think that is a great tier C, right? And I think that thing is super, super cool. Very bulky. It gets Tailwind, it gets Knockoff, it gets Snarl. They can just sit on the field and just kind of mess with teams. So I think that's a really cool pick. I also do really like the Ronzor Rhyperior, setting up Trick Room and then proccing a weakness policy. And Rhyperior, it can do. I had it on the back half of my league last year, so having that guy in the back to either redirect lightning stuff, which I don't think he has a real big problem with. But
just for the Dragonite and the Mandibuzz, probably.
Yeah.
And Corviknight, I guess. Yeah. But not really.
He also gets I think it's a Sheer Rock is that ability, where it halves the super effective damage. Effective. So, yep, I think there's some really cool things that he can do here. And then plus the Bolt End is so fast, it can do some fun stuff too. So.
It's called Sheer Rock. It's called Fox. You know it? Let me see.
Solid Rock.
Solid
yeah.
Rock.
Solid Rock.
And I always think of Arrested Development whenever I hear that.
So he's got Solid Rock on the Rhyperior, and then he's got Multiscale on the Dragonite. So 2 Pokemon that can like reduce super effective hits, which I think is really interesting. I think Fox made a very big upgrade early on. He made a couple 3 trades, I think, getting the Rhyperior, getting the Corviknight, and I forget what the third one he got was, but he got 3 Pokemon that were clear upgrades in my opinion. I think Tom mentioned earlier he drafted 2 of the 3 Pokemon he started off drafting, he ended up dropping. So that's the only downside to the draft is he not necessarily wasted picks, but he kind of did. He kind of wasted 2 picks. He dropped them and picked up Pokemon that weren't drafted early. So I think he could have maybe got a little even stronger team. But I think he's got a really strong team here, honestly. I love Dragonite. I know he's a big fan of Dragonite. I think he's going to do well with it. I really like Bronzong. I think it's pretty slept on. It's super bulky. It can run Heat Proof or Levitate. You never really know which one's going to bring. He can do it based on matchup. Corviknight is very scary. If it gets going, it can do bulk up stuff. It can get Roost. It can literally bulk up or Iron Defense and just body press you. And then my favorite pick here, which I might be a little biased here because it's on my team too, but Alolan Persian. I believe Fox had it in Season 1 and Alpaca had it Season 2. And both teams that used it, it is a monster. It might not have the biggest damage output, but it just does so much. It's kind of a discount Incineroar without the Intimidate. It does the exact same thing. Fake Out, Parting Shot. It can Quash to kind of control speed. It has different coverage moves which you wouldn't expect, like Play Rough we've seen. And it just does a whole bunch. It can Charm. It just does so much. So I think it's a very cool Pokemon that's kind of slept on. So that's kind of my sleeper here.
I absolutely love that pick. And that's something to watch out for next season's draft, or if you guys are in another draft league watching this. The champion and the runner-up have the same Pokemon on their roster. So that shows, that's a good Pokemon. You might want to look into how you can use that in a future draft league as well.
Okay. So next up, we have number 16 on the Power Rankings list is the RK9 Wolves. Another West Coast coach, Andrew G. So Andrew's another new player, and he's got a very interesting team. He started off his draft with 2 super strong S tiers, Colossal and Urshifu Rapid Strike. They pair really well together. Cole is annoying to deal with if you've played in a draft league or even just on ladder. Just the residual damage of the Volcolith. It gets really good coverage. It's special. So having a very hard-hitting special Pokemon is really good. It can utilize Trick Room because it's so slow, or it can go real fast. It can be the fastest thing on the field if it gets hit with a water move, and proc Weakness Policy at the same time. So I think that's a really cool combo. I really like the Latias pick, being able to get Tailwind. I'm not 100% sure what Latias does as a whole. I just know it gets a lot of utility stuff. It can hit pretty hard. It's got interesting typing. And it's a mon you don't see very often, but I think it's still very strong, especially for an A tier. And then you got Rillaboom to kind of, again, combat the colossal weakness of water. and Latias also kind of combos with that Colossal to deal with the ground immunity. So you can switch in on a potential ground move with Latias and it'll just miss it. The one thing that I see that's kind of concerning here is the Stack Attacker and Colossal. They're both super slow, so it's great for Trick Room. He's got really good Trick Room modes with Galarian Slow King. Obviously, I said Stack Attacker, Ferrothorn, but he's got 2 4 times weak to ground in Stack Attack and Coal, which can kind of be concerning. And then the only thing that is flying on his team is Latias. And you can kind of get around that if you just use an Earthquake. You might miss the Latias, obviously, but you'll hit the other Mon. So that's really the only big concern. I think he's also lacking a couple coverage typing. But I think that overall, I think his speed tierings are pretty solid. He doesn't necessarily have the fastest team, but he has certain priority moves. With Rillaboom, he has the Urshifu, which is decently fast. Like I already mentioned, the Colossal being able to go slow and fast, and he has the Trick Room modes. And also Mimikyu's a stud.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love this team. When I'm looking at it, I have 2 of the same S tiers in Colossal and Rillaboom. You could G-Max both of them. I love that you could G-Max all 3 of his first picks. That's something that's very valuable in this league, I feel like. You could G-Max Urshifu, you could G-Max Cole, you could G-Max Rillaboom. You don't know which game it's coming. You could G-Max all 3 in 3 games, you know? So that's something I expect to see. The Jinx is a versatile Pokemon. I actually had it on my list as something I would almost was thinking about drafting too. It gets a Trick Room, it gets a Fake Out, it gets Ally Switch.
It can't be taunted.
Mimikyu also isn't... Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, Jinx can't be taunted, I said.
Oh, exactly. That's another added bonus to it too. And then the 3 Trick Room mons with Jinx, Galarian Slowking, and Mimikyu all help Colossal if you run Flash Flyer on it. The one pick I really don't know what it does is Spirit Tongue. So I'm excited to see what he does with that. That's the only thing I really don't know what it does. And then, like you mentioned, Latias is elite. So I'm excited to see what his team can do.
Actually, I just wanted to piggyback on what you were saying there. Stack Attacker and Spiritomb are also Trick Room setters.
Oh my god!
So there's a lot of potential for Trick Room. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Latias gets it as well. But it's really, really fast for a Trick Room setter.
Yeah.
So you might be difficult on that.
Oh my god, that's a lot of Trick Room setters. And then he does have Ferret take advantage, Colossal, Stack Attacker.
Also, the more I look at this team, I'm noticing that he has a lot. Like I mentioned, he's lacking a little bit of different coverage typings, but and additionally to that, he has a lot of the same type coverages. Like he has the double grass types. He has 3 psychic type Pokemon, I believe. I don't know if Galarian Slowking is psychic. I know he's poison psychic, maybe.
I think he is poison psychic.
He's got the 2 rock Pokemon, and then 3 rock Pokemon actually with Aurorus, and then the dual ice with Jinx Aurora. So like, I think if he would even if he I think he could dip his toes into the trade or free agency and kind of widen his range of coverages that might help him out in certain matchups. But again, it's week 1, so it's not even week 1 yet. Or it is week 1, so we haven't played a match. So he's got to kind of figure out what his strengths and weaknesses are as he's playing throughout these matches.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this team.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid team overall, though. All right, 15. We got another Cole user, the infamous Tom over here with the Amoonguss bus. Tyros, I will let you break this one down.
So I think he's got some really cool pairs here, especially with Colossal Sneasel, as well as Inteleon on the back end. He also has Chandelure that can do some cool stuff with Cole, and then Butterfree, which can do the sleep power stuff. He also gets beat up with Cobalion, so I think there's some really good synergy here. I don't really like the Sceptile pick. I think he could have gone a different way with that one. But I know him and I have talked a couple times, so I know he has a few things planned. So I think Oranguru is also interesting. I'd be really curious to see how he uses that one. But he's got good speed on the front end and a little bit a little bit too fast, I think, at some points. I think Cole, I don't know, it might kind of hurt when you proc weakness policy for it to go fast.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of trick room, but not a lot of trick room users.
So yeah, I guess the Sceptile pick, I can see it being good. I can also see it not pairing not that great with his team. The one thing he can run weakness policy on it and proc like use Ice Shard, Sneasel, or something with another one of his mons to proc the weakness policy, but he doesn't have like terrain to like have like a electric seed or grassy seed to boost its defenses and proc the unburden. So he's kind of forced to run weakness policy with it. So it could be kind of telling. And then like I said, 2 grass types. He already has such a good grass type in Rillaboom, and he's going to bring it most of the time, I feel like. So I don't necessarily know if Sceptile is a huge need for this team. I think he could probably dive into something else. The benefit to that is it is a C tier, so he's probably not going to get much better anyways.
Fair.
And then you talked about the Trick Room stuff. I think he wants, like, he might say differently, but his team says he wants to go fast. You have the Colossal that's super slow, but you got something that can just hit it with a water move and basically make it useless in Trick Room. He has the Hatterene, which can be very scary as a G-Max Mon. He's got 5 of those. And you've heard Tom talk for the first 9 teams. He loves his G-Max Pokemon. If we didn't say it, he might throw a little tantrum over there, you know? He values his G-Max Pokemon. I'm not a huge, not that I'm not a huge fan of him. I think there's a very specific amount of Pokemon that are good in G-Max form, and the rest are just really kind of trash. But he's got 5 of them on his team, so he can use 5 G-Max Mons. Hatterene, I think, is really good. Colossal, really good. Rillaboom doesn't really do anything as a G-Max Mon other than maybe the 10. I think it's a 10 base power boost in his grass movement, and it ignores abilities, which isn't that useful. Same with Inteleon. But yeah, he's got some cool things, cool synergy here with the Cole and Sneasel. I think is a really good pick. I think the Inteleon kind of is a question mark for me. It's definitely a good water type, but I've used it in the past. I don't think it's that great, but that's just a personal opinion of mine. But he used it last season. I think he really liked it, so there's that. And he's got the Dragonite. Dragonite's a very bulky, strong Pokemon that gets a multi-scale, like we said, so he can proc policy on that and not take much damage, and then it just tanks a lot of things. So yeah.
I look at it as a decent type of game, right? Like, you went King last time, and Inteleon last time, and he knows what he wants to do with that, and that's, I think, a solid game plan. Like, if you know what you want to do and you're going to be able to do it, more power to you.
Yeah, I think he kind of went with what he's comfortable with, which I can respect a lot. I think that's he knows his strengths and he knows what he's good with, so I think that's a good tell that of a good player that knows kind of, like I said, what he's good at. So he's gonna play to his strengths. I will say the Oranguru pick kind of is a little odd too for me, and like I don't know what he pairs with Instruct, maybe like a Heat Wave stuff, but if you get in Trick Room, it might get tricky there. Because you're going to be slower than you're going to be faster than Oranguru, and it's going to make things weird. But we'll see. I think he's primed for a good season. We'll see how far he can go. I'm interested to see how this team goes.
Absolutely.
All right, it's number 14. We have the Atlanta Dunsparce, another West coach, and we have Bananas. Let's see. So, Fox, you want to start this one off?
So the Clef PZ team. This team wants to go fast, and that is just 100% fast. So you got your PZ, nuking things with Max Strike. I'm going to go fast for you. You got Dracovish in the bag to clean up. You got the Talonflame if you want to go Tailwind mode. There's Thunderous, so you can't just sit and snarl things because you have to worry about the thing to deflect from that. And that can get scary really, really fast. Then you've got Gengar, which is a like It's fast, so it'll icy wins. And we all know that PZ's an idiot, especially once the help hand with great stuff. I mean, there's definitely there's ways around it, and there's ways to deal with it, but this team is going to go faster than you, and you have to be ready for it. And so, in order to, you just got to make sure that you've got the answers. You can beat PZ, you can beat Clash, and if you can't, you're in for a world joke division.
Yeah, I think that this is one of the first teams that we're really seeing that has a lot of different heavy hitters. Like you got the Thundurus, the Garchomp, Dragovich if it's faster, and then the PZ. PZ Clef, obviously a big combo in Series 6. That's super scary and can be difficult to deal with. But overall, I think it's pretty solid. But like you say, it wants to go fast.
Yeah, this one looking for S tier.
Sorry, Tom, go ahead.
Oh. No, I was just going to say, this is one of the teams with 4 S tier mods. So you see that on the back end of the roster with the Heracross, with the Thievul. He doesn't have a terrain setter for the Thievul. With the Caparaja, that's his only G-Max mod too. I love me the G-Max mods. But, yeah, this team's an interesting one. It's very top-heavy. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Fox.
No, you're good. I was done, so we're set.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Let's see. All right, so Fox, you want to take this one? I gotta take a phone call real quick, but you can take over for this one.
Oh, well, I'm just gonna kick it over to Tyros. But yeah, so let's look at it here. So we've got number 13, the Gold Coast Go-Goats, coached by Arceus. I believe he's West, correct?
That's West Coast.
Yeah, West Coast. So another West Coast team. Tyros, you want to take this one, man?
Sure. So it's got one of my base cores from last season with Comfey and Lapras, but it also has Togekiss, which I think you can do some really cool things with this team. He has Sun as well with Ninetales and Venusaur, and then Hawlucha with Pincurchin I also think is really cool. I think Hawk you can do some awesome things with that. Do a Swords Dance with Togekiss next to it, and then bring out Pincurchin and just start wrecking stuff with Hawlucha. But I mean, it also gets screens with Lapras and Comfey for weakness policy wants to run that. I think this team has a lot of cool duos across the board that it can do.
This team is very gimmicky too, because we see the Azumarill, the Snorlax, and the Blacephalon all get moves that do damage to themselves and can pass their ability onto the Passimian. So you could get a huge power Passimian if you use Misty Explosion Protect. You could get a thick, fat, or gluttony Passimian if you go with the Snorlax Self-Destruct. Let's say you protect and you go Mind Blown Blacephalon and it gets KO'd. Passimian gets Beast Boost. There's a lot of gimmicks on this team that I'm excited to see how he uses them. And then you got the classic Sun Venusaur dude, the classic Lapras Comfey. So he's got a lot of fun stuff.
Is that how Receiver works? I thought you had to be hit super effective for Receiver.
No, if you self-destruct protect, you get your allies, what's it called?
I know you get the item. What is it? I thought that's the only reason why I worked with the Zoomeril is because it was a super effective thing. I don't know. I'll have to look on that. But.
Apparently it just needs the dot. I've never used it, but apparently it just needs the dot. So people are saying in the chat.
He plays Snom week 1, and I was having a lot of fun trying that out on Showdown practice with Snom. I was like, how does this work exactly? But it's a fun combo.
Yeah, I think Lapras, I don't know if you guys have said this before, but Lapras and Comfey, a very scary combo. I think obviously the Venu Ninetales, super scary. He's got the Pincurchin Hawlucha combo. He picked up Pincurchin for that. He's got the Azumarill Passimian combo. He's got a lot of combos that are very solid. And then on top of that, he has Togekiss for redirection, which is very good. It's kind of as a whole, 11 Pokemon, I don't necessarily see them pairing very well together, but they very like they're the two individual pairs are very good. Like they're I don't know if that makes sense. Like they Venusaur and Ninetales pair very well together, but they don't necessarily pair very well with a lot of the other stuff. The Lapras and Comfey pair very well together, but I don't really see it pairing well with a lot of other things on his team. So he has like two individual pairs, but like I don't see it meshing as a whole. And that's where I'm lost in this team a little bit. But I think it's going to be a fun team to watch for sure.
I would add Hawlucha Pincurchin into the fun combos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then Pokemon in the sun. That's something I really want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I had fun with that last season.
Agreed. All right, so number 12 here. This is the this is I think no, this is not. We're not quite halfway there. We're almost halfway there. Windows P2, the coach Lil Smurf. This one we're starting to get kind of in the teams that can be very scary. We see three redirect, or no, not three. I'm thinking the wrong team. We're seeing one redirection in DD. We're seeing a lot of Trick Room options, and we're seeing Glacier. That thing is a Trick Room monster. It failed to number 4 on the east side, and it's super bulky. It hits hard. It's got pretty good coverage. It just tanks everything. You can run AV on it. You can run Life Orb. You can run Weakness Policy. The Grim with the screens are really interesting because it'll make it even more bulky. And then Pheromosa you got to prepare for, so you can do a speed swap Glacier with Pheromosa and makes Glacier fast if you don't want to do Trick Room. There's a lot of interesting things. The one glaring thing that I see from this team that just pops right off the page, he lacks so much coverage. So much coverage. He has a lot of Psychic, Ghost, Fairy, a lot of Water, but I don't see a lot of the main cores. He's lacking. Where's the Fire Pokemon? Where's the Grass Pokemon? So he doesn't have a complete Fire, Water, Grass core. He doesn't have a complete Dragon, Fairy, Steel core. He's got kind of one of each of the cores, but not the entire trio. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays this. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I think that Griffstyle is so good that it might just even be enough just to do very well in the league with just literally Grimmsnarl, or not Grimmsnarl, Glacier, Trick Room, or Glacier, Pheromosa. There's not a lot of Sorry, go ahead.
You haven't mentioned the Blissey yet, and that's.
I don't buy into the Blissey stuff. I haven't bought into it.
It's not quite the same.
So there's a couple of teams that are very special attack heavy. So you're forcing them to bring one of their few physical attackers, and that's something you need to prep for in match prep.
Yep.
What were we saying? Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say it's not quite the same as Chansey. You don't really quite get all the minimize and all that stuff, but it's still something that you got to deal with. Like you were saying, there's a lot of special attack heavy teams, and if you get stuck in front of a Blissey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how this team is. I think, in my opinion, it lacks a little coverage, but I think it could be strong enough to just do work anyways. I don't think it might not necessarily need the coverage with how strong Glacier is and the supporting cast around it.
And if you get a speed swap off with Pheromosa Glacier, that's not going to be fun for the opponent.
Yeah, he definitely built the team specifically around Glacier. I'm just not seeing any other real big threats. You got the Primarina maybe. It's just in a weird speed tier. Primarina can definitely do work, but other than that, there's not really much offensive firepower coming out on this team, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I think it's a mid tier team, but it's starting to get in the scary, seeing the scary mons. Yeah. All right, so number 11. So this is the top half of the league now in the rankings. We have the Dialga's Demons with the coach Jax. Tyros, you want to take this one over?
I actually really like this team. Again, we get Glastrier with the heavy hitter, and then somehow we let him get Dusclops as well, which is a real scary combo. He also has Intimidate with Luxray and Klefki. I think Klefki is really cool. It can set the screens up. It can do some weather stuff to nerf the opponent if it wants to. And I think this is a really cool team. He also has the other two S tier and G Moltres and Cinderace, which can change its typing around depending on who you're going against. So I think there's some really cool combos in this team overall.
Tom Fox?
Yeah, what does the Magmar do there? Do you guys know?
I don't know.
I'm not sure what the Magmar does.
I was gonna say
I have no clue. It might
question
be like
marks
a
in this.
preference.
The question marks in this team for me are the Stoutland and Magmar. I had Stoutland on my Season 1 team, and I could see it as more of a supportive mon, but if you don't, without Sand, to me, it's hard to see it being used anything other than just support. Snarl, Yawn, Baby Doll Eyes, Intimidate. And maybe that's what he was going for, just trying to find a cheap Intimidate user, which Stoutland is. But I really like this team. Glacier, Dusclops, scary combo in itself. He doesn't have the redirection to potentially 100% get up Trick Room, but which can be easily taunted or whatnot. But if you get Trick Room up, Glacier can be a monster. But then he has Galarian Moltres and Raichu, another scary combo, another scary lead. And then you also have to prep and worry about Cinderace, which Tyro said can be any type pretty much. Whatever its coverage is, it can change types. But yeah, and then he's got the Klefki screens, which makes it harder for everyone to kill something. So I like this team a lot. I think it's going to do pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So now in the top 10, we have LA Lapras for the one of the new coaches in the West, Tank. Yeah, Tom, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so the LA Lapras, you got the terrain right away in Indeedee. You got redirection with the Indeedee female, too. His top 3 picks were Amoonguss, who I absolutely love. The Amoonguss, the Indeedee female, and the Lando T. And then he also, again, I keep saying top 3 and then going 4, but the Alakazam with the Indeedee females and elite combo. We already touched upon that with United Teams, too. He also has another Pokemon that's on my roster, Hatterene. So, Hatterene could sit in the Trick Room, Alakazam could sit in the Trick Room, Malamar could sit in the Trick Room, you got the Fake Out with Hitmontop, you got Fake Out with Indeedee if you don't get the Psychic Terrain, you got the G-Max Pokemon and Hatterene and Centiskorch. There's a lot I like about this team. My favorite pick, though, was probably, I got 2 favorite picks, because I'm excited to see how he uses them in the Melodic and in the Centiskorch. The Centiskorch, I like bug-type Pokemon. So if he could get that G-Max going with the Fire Spin ability, like G-Max move, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
If he could get the Melodic going somehow and get that thing as a real good, support mon, you get Coil, Hypnosis up, that could be so annoying. So I'm excited to see how this team works. Oh, I was going to say Runerigus. I was looking at the top, not the bottom. Yeah, I really like the way this team competition worked out. And then the one team I kind of don't know about is Komodo. How does it fit into his team? I know it used to be very strong with the Z move.
I like Como on this team a lot.
Okay.
I saw this one when he drafted. I said this. It's got I think it's like Clanging Scales. So it basically it's very similar to Shell Smash. It gets like a big buff in stats. I'm gonna look it up just so I'm not misremembering.
Yeah, I could go to Cerebi too, but I thought that was a Z move and they took it away.
No,
I have not used the game yet.
Clanging Scales.
The Z move was called Clangorous Soul Blaze. It was just in a huge amount.
Yeah. So
and that was the move for that.
It's essentially
Clanging Scales, and the user's defense stat goes down after the attack. What does it do?
There's maybe that's not the move. There's one move that it's like a special move.
Clangorous Soul.
Yeah, Clangorous Soul, or something like that.
Raises each stat by 1, lowers HP by 33%.
Yeah, so that with redirection is just like, it's kind of just like it's an omni boost. So it boosts all his stats, but you're losing health. And next to redirection, you're buffing your Como-O a little bit, which I think it's interesting tech. I think it's very slept on. Como-O is a tier B, so I think it's probably right around where it should be. It doesn't have the greatest typing. It's got a decent amount of weaknesses. I think it's pure dragon. Just being weak to other dragon types, fairy and ice. Let me just make sure to see if it's not another type. Oh, it's fighting too. So it's got the 4 times weak to fairy. But yeah, so I think I like that pick a lot. But it depends how he uses it. The one thing I'll mention here that I see right off the bat is he's got the Indeedee Hatterene, which is super strong to make sure you 100% get up Trick Room. But what does he have to abuse Trick Room other than the Amoonguss and Hatterene? Nothing. His team's relatively either mid-tiers or pretty fast. So that's the only issue I have with that. Like, if he got a Trick Room abuser, like a very slow, super strong offensive Pokemon, he could run this league a little bit. I think. But his team is it's very awkward in terms of its speed tiers, especially with the ability that he can 100% pretty much get up Trick Room unless someone just imprisons him.
You would almost want to go faster with that Psychic Drain Alakazam, like we touched
Yeah,
upon
exactly.
earlier with United.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what he does, or if he can either make a trade or two to try to get a Trick Room sweeper that can really wreck people. And there are definitely still some there. I won't mention what. I'll leave that to him. But there are a couple Trick Room sweepers that can be very dangerous in this team. I had one last year, if people that remember. But yeah. So next we will go on number 9, the Abstract Unknown. I like this logo a lot. If you didn't know, the Unknown spell abstract. It takes you a little minute to figure it out, but I think that's kind of neat. Fox, you want to take this one?
Oh, I thought you were going to do it, but okay.
I can do it. I just kind of giving everyone a chance to speak.
No, you're good, you're good. I'm having some trouble locating these 3. There you go. Oh, okay, this is the team that wants to go really fast.
Yeah, you're just getting all the fast teams.
Yeah, so you got Cinderace, Regieleki. I mean, like, you haven't seen really those 2 together. United used it a little bit last season, I think, but yeah, you want to go fast. I mean, like Electroweb, you get the Airstream, like you're the fastest thing on the field. You kind of get the same type of stuff looking with, Torn, Cinderace, Torn Dracozolt, heck, even Torn Lapras, right? We got the Turbo Lapras coming back. We've got Lipard, good fake out user, Prankster can do some stuff with that. Maybe, Prankster Sunny Day for the Vileplume. You get the Chlorophyll, do some sleep stuff. Got Clefable for good redirection. I'm not really sure. Use the Sand Rush Dracozolt, but there's some other stuff on this team. And actually, I gotta run and take a phone call quick, so I'll be back in a little while.
Okay, no worries. I'll take over from here. On that thought of the Dracozolt Hippowdon, I understand why he drafted the Hippowdon for the Dracozolt Sand Rush, but Dracozolt's bread and butter is that hustle ability and hitting super strong. Sure, you get the extra boost from being faster in sand, but if someone else gets up a Tailwind, Dracozolt's kind of a mid-tier speed Pokemon, it still might not be faster. And then additionally, he has the ability to set 3 different weathers, and although it may be very hard to prep for at times, it can also kind of come to bite you in the butt sometimes. And we saw that last season with one of the players who drafted specifically having 2 different weathers, and it was very difficult for him to bring certain mons because 6 is a very weird number where you bring 4 Pokemon to a match, so you can't split up. I'm going to bring 3 Pokemon that can abuse Rain. I'm going to bring, and the other 3 are going to be able to bring Abuse, Sun. So clashing that into a team of 6, you kind of have to pick and choose which one you're going to do for that week, and it can be kind of hard. But this team does want to go fast. It has some really high potential in its damage output. I think the Dragozolt and the Elecki may be a little bit of an overkill with the electric types. I think he could possibly make a couple trades that could change his team up a very good amount. I kind of think specifically the Powder and Dragozolt, but it's early in the year. It could go off. He could really like using those mons. But I can see A and B tiers are very strong, and in the tier list we have, there are a lot of good, strong A and B tiers that he can find that can kind of centralize what he struggles with during the year. So I think he's got some very high potential with his team, and the trade options are obviously always open for people. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this team. And yeah, Tom or Tyros, you got anything for this team?
Tyros, you want to go? I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, I like it. I think Clefable is kind of a slept-on redirector. That's the only reason why I grabbed it for my team. Plus, it's in the A tier. And I think I agree with what you were saying, Bhanny, about Dracozolt and Hippowdon. I think those can get traded out with some different guys and kind of round this out a little bit more. But overarching, it's really, really awesome. Especially with having Lapras down there, and if you can get Lapras, I actually would really like to see Lapras Tornadus. I think that could be pretty sweet.
And one thing I think the Sun is actually the best weather on this team, because if you get the Liepard Prankster Sunny Day and a Cinderace Pyro Ball, the 160 base power stab in the sun, not a lot of Pokemon are going to survive that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a neutral hit, that's going to hit hard. And that's something I want to see. The Chlorophyll with the Vileplume. So if he could boost that Sun Core that he already has, and then the Electly with the speed control, it goes faster than anything not boosted. So I really do like this team, and I understand why it's right at 9. I think it belongs right where it is.
Yeah, I think it's a good place for it for sure. I was gonna have Tyros talk about the next team, but he's gonna have to wait. He's gonna have to wait more pick to talk because this is his team up. Number 8, we got Buffalo Scissor with the coach Tyros. Tom, I'll let you start off with this one, and I'll give my 2 cents to it about it after.
Yeah, so Tyros, my boy, he got the picks he wanted with the first 2 in Metagross Entei. He wanted to use that. We already heard him with the Clefable love. I didn't even realize he had Elecki too. But that's something I missed in my notes. I only looked at the top part, not the bottom part. So Elecki on this team for extra speed control is awesome. We saw a player use the Araquanid outstanding last year.
Yeah, Araquanid was a menace.
Bhanny, you hear me?
Yeah, I was just saying Araquanid was a menace last season. It just did so much work.
It was an absolute menace. You got the Lando, you got the Serena, which I love its ability. You can't fake out if you want to get a Trick Room up. You got to think of something else. If you're a Prankster Taunt user, don't think about using it when Serena's on the field. The one thing I don't like that everyone seems to have love for Turtonator. I don't know what Turtonator does. I haven't seen the Shell Trap been used good yet in a draft league. So once someone shows me footage of the Turtonator crushing it in the draft league, I'll believe it. But he doesn't have any G-Max Pokemon, which I love. He doesn't have the terrain, the weather, and he does have the redirecting Clefable, so that's good. So I'm real curious to see how this goes. But he got the combo he wanted in Metagross Entei. He got the speed control in Elecki. So he's... And then the Araquanid, which we saw already last year, do so much damage. I'm excited to see what he can do with this team.
Yeah, and he's got the Sableye to be able to set both Rain and Sun if he wants to for the Araquanid, and even the Turtonator. It's a Prankster Mon that's not necessarily one of the better support Mons, but it's Prankster and it gets a lot of things. It's Quash, so he can kind of be faster than most things that are threatening. And I'm with you, I'm with you, Tom. I'm not a big Turtonator fan. It's very slow. It's very strong, but you have to get Trick Room up. And he does have Reuniclus to do that, but I just don't really know what Turtonator does a whole bunch. I remember seeing A-Drive used it in his draft league back whenever they did their stuff, and he was a big fan of Turtonator, so maybe that's where he got the idea from. But I know he really wanted this thing, and he got it. So I know he's got some plans for it, and I'm excited to see what he does with it. Entei Metagross, great combo. Alecki, great for speed control. His team is very is kind of weak to ground, but he ended up drafting Noivern and Lando which are immune to ground.
And Joel just said something in the chat. So he said he wants to do Shell Smash. So
yeah, Shell Smash is solid.
So, okay. Is that it? Like, I haven't seen Turtonator work, though.
Shell Smash is definitely good, but, like, he's going to be pairing that to get it up consistently, probably with Clefable, and then what? You're not getting up Trick Room then because you have the redirection. You don't have Reuniclus, so you kind of have to get Reuniclus out there first, get up Trick Room, or do it after. So there's a lot of investment in just this Shell Smash and trying to be able to go first. So you either have to Shell Smash and not worry about Trick Room, or just get Trick Room up without and risk getting Shell Smashed, or risk Shell Smash in front of people.
Yeah, shout out coming in the chat. Shell Trap is too inconsistent. You know, so you can't rely on the Shell Trap move, even though it's a 100 base power move. Mm-hmm. What is it? If it's hit by a physical, you're going to die from most physical with its stat.
Yeah. But honestly, overall, up and down this team, I really like it. I think it's one of the first teams I'm seeing that completely covers most things. Like, it's got the fire, water, grass core. It's got the fairy, steel, dragon core. Which I got the two. To me, those are the two main cores that I like to build around as well. But he's got speed control with the Alecki. He's got Noivern to set Tailwind. He's got the Trick Room stuff.
Ability to prevent the opposing fake outs or prankster moves.
Yeah, so he's got a very solid team here. I'm expecting Tyros to do very well this season, and even build off of his first season from last year. All right, so next. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I absolutely do too. I couldn't agree more.
And he's got an updated logo, which looks sick. All right, so next we got number 7, Orlando Oshawatts. Tyros, I'll let you take this away because take this one because we haven't heard you in the last two times.
All right, so Otter had the first overall pick, and he went with Whimsicott, and I really do like Whimsicott a lot. It's got the priority with Prankster. To do Tailwind, which is super awesome. And then, like you were saying, you really start to see, like, fire, water, grass here. And I think I really like the Bronzor Rhyperior. I think Fox had the same thing on his team. I think that's a great combo. And then I can never pronounce the name correctly. Neglineta.
Neolego?
Yeah, that one.
Sound it out.
That thing can do some crazy damage output. So I think that's a really cool pick. And then I also like the team that they have up top with Milotic and Arcanine. Milotic, super bulky, can use Coil, a little more accuracy, and then throw Hypnosises all over the field. And Arcanine, I mean, you can do Justify stuff with it, you can do Intimidate stuff with it, so I think this is a pretty overall good team.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. I think this is very solid. Before you say something, Tom, Tom, I'm going to put my 2 cents in. So it's another team, very well-rounded. I think we're starting to see that as you see the higher ranked teams. They're more well-rounded throughout. I think they have synergy, obviously, but the coverages are there. You have to worry about from the top to the bottom the whole way around. So we had first pick, and first pick in a draft league isn't necessarily the best. The reason that is because you pick one and it's stake style, so you go all the way to 12 picks for the division, and then it goes from 12 to 1. So you're waiting another 24 picks, 24 picks to pick again. So I like the Whimsicott number 1 pick. It's not, to me, that's a little bit earlier draft to Pokemon like Whimsicott, but in a draft league, it's really kind of perfect because it's so versatile. It does everything. It's Tailwind. It can set Sun. It's got really good ability in Prankster. it can set Trick Room if you want to get kind of spicy with it with that. It's kind of fast forward, but you can.
Did Hayden drop out?
What's that?
Okay, I'm glad that wasn't me. I thought I dropped out.
No, I thought it was me too. I was like, well, he's just gone.
Can you hear me?
I was like, wait, is this me? His little bubble's moving though. So I don't know if he's trying to talk and it's not coming through. I don't know what's
Can you guys hear me?
I don't hear me. Let me turn up.
Here, let me go out of the call and come back.
I thought I dropped out.
Can you guys hear me? Hello? Okay, you guys can hear me? Wait. Hello? Let me see if my, Test. Yeah, my stream is picking it up. I'm not hearing anyone else, though. Alright, chat, if you guys can hear me, type who you guys can hear. Can you hear everyone, or can you just hear me? Okay, you can only hear me. Okay. Can you hear anyone else? I don't think you can. Let me try to get them on my phone. Faintly Tom. Let me, Okay. So we're having some technical difficulties right now. Interesting. So we'll just wait to see when they if they can come back. Did I cut out for the chat at all, or was I good there? I'm pretty sure I didn't. Yeah, I was good. Okay, that's what I thought. And they're like not responding, so we'll see. Sorry for the delay, guys. Let's see. Tom just said, yeah. Come back to Tom. I'm confused. It's super weird. Maybe I'll just call on my phone? I don't know.
So weird how it just kind of kicked off.
Okay, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Oh, nice.
Oh, we got you.
Yeah.
He's back now. There you go. Cool.
Yeah, everyone can hear me. They
What
couldn't hear you guys.
No, now we might be on the stream because we can hear you.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you. We couldn't even hear you before, but we were talking to each other.
Yeah.
So we're.
I heard you mention I cut out, but I didn't cut out on the stream, so the stream picked up whatever I whatever I said. But I think we're good now.
The stream is working too. For a minute, I'm listening on my iPad. So I'm going to pause it on my iPad.
Okay.
Discord asked me how this call was. I'll give it the meh face.
Not gonna lie, I forgot what I was saying. I just remember talking about Whimsicott. And I'll let you guys talk about it now. I've talked enough for this team.
I think maybe we move on in the interest of time because I kind of forgot where we were at.
Okay. No one wants to say.
Yeah, I like it. The Power Herb Meteor Beam is something to watch out for. Whimsicott Tailwind. You can also run Trick Room on a lot of his Pokemon. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what he does with it. And he does have that Trick Room sweeper with Rhyperior. No terrain, weather, or redirection, and no G-Max mons up.
I think it's a very solid team up and down. I think it's very Well drafted.
Yep.
All right, next you got the ABQ Ice Q. I love the name. I think the logo could use some work, but overall, I think he's got a very interesting, strong team. Yeah, you guys want to start and talk about it?
Sure. So this is the Sand team, right? Oh no, this is the Rain team. Oh yeah.
Yep.
So we got Politoed, we got Kingdra, we got the single strike Urshifu, with Tyranitar, Barraskewda's here. So there's a lot of directions that this team goes. Because you can do the Sand Rush with T-Tar Dracozolt. You can do Rain with Kingdra. You can do Rain with Barraskewda. So I just think that you got different weather types, and I think that those are really good considering whichever matchup that you want to be in. Plus, all those things hit really hard. Like you don't want to be on the wrong end of a Voltbeak. You don't want to be on the wrong end of a Kingdra. Wormwind or something. Tyranitar is always something that you got to watch out for, and it's scary. So I think that there's a lot of just good options with this team. I mean, I would want to take a Surging Strikes in Rain if I was slower than Urshifu, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like there's some issues here. Plus, like Tom mentioned, you got the Blissey, the special wall. You got to be careful of that. Galvantula's there, throwing out Electro Webs. The one interesting pick I thought was Rhydon, because you got a Lightning Rod there, and since it does have an evolution, you can give it the Eviolite. Would even make it super bulky. And it's it's like a second tier evolution, so it's it was the original one for a long time there, so it's actually pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was an interesting pick as well. Blaziken could be fun, right? You got some good fire typing there, and then Aggron, yeah, and speed boost also. And then Aggron is just like it's Aggron, it's a C tier. You picked it up. What are you going to put the dive to like 3?
I agree.
He has a lot of speed. He has a lot of speed control. The Barraskewda hits hard too. What is it? It has a 136 speed and a 123 attack. So that's something in the rain you don't want to really mess with either.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a trick room option, but he's going pretty fast for the most part.
He has Electro Web on the Galvantula. He has a Swift Swim. He has the Sand Rush potentially with the T-Tar. So yeah, that's what I meant by the speed control. But yeah, he has a lot going on. And then the Blissey Wall is something to look out for. If you have a lot of heavy special attackers and not a lot of physical attackers, if your opponent takes out your physical attackers, you need to take out that Blissey somehow.
I agree. All right, so we'll move on to number 5, the Detroit Dragapults with the new coach for the season, Katie or K. DeMarney. Tyros, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I absolutely love this team. We were talking when the draft was going on the East. We were talking when Spectre got chosen, and Jade was saying, "Yeah, it's good, but you can only do so many things unless you have the right partner." And then coming back around, he grabbed Clefairy, and all of us went like, "Oh man, that can do some awesome things." Plus, I mean, you get 3 directions with Clefairy, and then you also have Mimikyu in there. They can set up almost pretty much a guaranteed trick room, but also can do some store stance and just start wreaking havoc across the field. And then Prankster with Meowstick. So I think this team is really strong. I think the core, the S to B tier is very, very good, and I think it's definitely going to be one to watch out for this year.
Yeah, he has 4 Ghost-type Pokemons, which I love. I love Ghost-type Pokemon too. But that's also a lot of the same weaknesses. So that's something to watch out for going forward as well.
Mm-hmm. I don't really know what Articuno does, but I'm interested to see what that does. Urshifu, Single Strike, Spectre, Clefairy, Gyarados, Mudsdale, Mercury. Like they're all like very solid picks. I kind of even like the Delmise, but he already has that weakness to Ghost and Dark. But having that slow grass type is kind of nice. And yeah, Clefairy is very good. Getting the friend guard, getting it's a straight support mon, so there's no output coming in physically or especially, but it's very strong to pair with most of these teams or most of these Pokemon. We see Clefairy Spectre on ladder a lot in Series 7,
Yeah.
so it'll be interesting to see how KD does and how his team kind of how people deal with his team.
And he wants to get into Trick Room with that Mudsdale, too. So that's something to watch out for. The Gyarados with the Moxie boost is something he could do. The same with the Spectre Brilliant. The Spectre ability where it just snowballs and piles up and piles up. So this is a very good team. And do I play him this year? I'm glad I don't play him this year. That's all I got to say.
All right, so we'll move on to number 4. We got Carolina State War Turtles and the coach Koji. I play him week 1, so I will let someone else bring us start this breakdown and talk about it.
He got a solid top 4 picks. We're on to Koji, right? Yeah. So Koji's top 4 picks in the draft were Incineroar, T-Tar, Dusclops, Excadrill. All S-tier mods. That's amazing. That's like Excadrill lasting to the 4th round is awesome. You got the T-Tar partner for it if you want to go fast. You could even slap a Choice Scarf on T-Tar, and you're the fastest around. If you want to go T-Tar Dusclops, you could potentially get into Trick Room. Bulldoze, have a slow T-Tar if your opponent's mid-speed. So you could have a lot of fun with those top 4. The Incineroar with the Intimidate is just great, too, because T-Tar already gets the boost of Special in the sand. So now just lowering your opponent's attack and helping its defense out is such an awesome little tech. It has the 2 fake-out users in Incineroar and Raichu. The Braviary with Defiance, so you can only use certain G-Max moves against it if it brings Braviary. And then its S-tiers aren't bad. I played all, I guess it sets Trick Room. It probably gets Ally Switch. But what does it do? I love the Tentacruel pick, and I love the Eldegoss pick. Because if Eldegoss, its ability when it gets hit, it shoots out something that lowers all the opponent's
Speed, yeah.
and ally speed. So he could pair that with Braviary and work very well.
I don't think you get a Defiant boost from that, though.
What's up?
You don't get a Defiant boost from that.
Oh, you don't? Okay, so that's something
No, you can't proc your own Defiant boost. I've tried testing stuff like that out.
So I wrote that down as something to watch out for. So now you don't have to watch out for that. Thank you, B. Haney. I love the way his team came together, and he's a top 5 team for a reason, and he's something to watch out for if you see him on your schedule.
Fox, Tyros?
I actually got to dip out for good this time, but yeah, I know.
So
I think
anticlimactic.
Really solid. I think it's really, really good, and I'm definitely looking forward to later on. I think I match up against him. It'll be spec against spec, so that'll be.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun.
Awesome. All right, see you, Fox. It's always a pleasure.
See you, Fox.
Always.
Tyros?
Yeah, I think this team is top tier for sure. That core 4 of the S tier of Incin, Tyranitar, Excadrill, Dusclops is super scary. And then I also really like that Rotom pick. I think that can do some fun stuff. And then Vikavolt just hits like a truck inside Trick Room. So yeah, this is a great team.
All right, and then number 3, it's yours truly with the New England Patriots, me, B. Haney. So I'll let you guys both talk about this team.
Yeah, Tyros, you want to start us off? Because I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, first, great logo. Haney rebranded this year to the New England Pidgeots. Not a big fan of the original team it got taken from, but it's a cool logo nonetheless. I think this team is also really cool. Same little core there that I have with Metagross and Entei, but he also got Dragapult, Torkoal, and Venusaur, which is insane. When those picks were going by, and we saw him grab all those picks, we were just mind blown. I also think that the drop and I can't remember who he dropped, and then grabbing Jellicent, I think is really, really nice and kind of rounds out the water side. And I also really like the Raikou pick. Having the double dog and Raikou can do some super cool things with screens and snarls and stuff. So, yeah, I think this team is super scary.
The double dog. That really made me laugh. But gets fake out pressure with Persian and Lopunny. A G-Max Venusaur, which also gets a residual damage, and then this chlorophyll boost from Torkoal. You got Trick Room setters with the Executor and the Jellicent. I'm not sure if the Glade gets it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets it.
It does.
So so that's scary. That's 3 Trick Room setters right there, plus the Metagross Entei. You got to watch out for Entei in the sun now. You got to watch out for Dragapult somehow, maybe Surf Entei too. Set up like a Dragapult for the Torkoal. We saw Dynamax Torkoal last season, which I did not expect to see, but we saw it. So that's something he could look into. Look at some of the fire matches with Alpaca's team from last season. So there's so many options he could go into with his team, and I'm excited to see how he uses it. But that's why he's number 3 right now, and he's the defending champ. So, yeah, if you have him on your schedule, watch out. And I got him week 7, so I'm excited for that matchup.
Watch out, Tom.
Yeah.
All right, so number 2, we got Canberra Charmanders with our Australian buddy over here, Jade.
Congrats on the new kid.
Oh, he had his baby. Okay, nice. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So let's hope you can do right by him. And if you lose to me, Jade, you gotta name your kid after me. You gotta change his name. All right, so we got another Whimsicott team, and Whimsicott with Charizard is super scary, obviously. He's additionally, with the Charizard, if he doesn't want to set Sunny Day with Whimsicott, he's got that Torkoal. I think Torkoal is great because it helps with the speed tiers, and he's got Trick Room setters on his team. Aromatisse. And if you can get Torkoal and Trick Room, blasting off eruptions, they do some massive damage. But yeah, and then he's just got a very bulky team in general. Goodra, Seismitoad, Terrakion, Torkoal's bulky from the physical side. Umbreon's is a very bulky Pokemon. It's sneaky bulky. You don't expect it to be very defensively minded, but it is. It is. He's got a couple of very weak fire type Pokemon, or Pokemon that are weak to fire type moves, like the Whimsicott, the Scissor, Glaceon, and Tangrowth. But overall, I think he's got a very solid core, and I think the Charizard with the residual damage of the Wildfire is something to kind of not kind of disregard. You gotta prep for that properly.
And he has a Whimsicott, which gets the Prankster Sunny Day, so
Yeah.
he can set it up immediately. He could run the weakness policy Goodra with Glaceon. He could run the Torkoal Charizard in the sun if he wants to. Does he have any beat up users for the Terrakion? Does Scizor or Umbreon get beat up?
Charizard gets beat up.
Charizard gets beat up, so that's even insane. Because he could lead Terrakion Charizard, and you just don't see that coming game 2 if he hasn't ran it all season. So that's something to watch out for. Oh, Wims gets beat up too. I missed that one.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to watch out for with this team. And yeah, it's the number 2 team for a reason. Like, there's a lot of threats, and I want to see what he does with a Scizor. Because we saw a Choice Band Bullet Punch. That was next to Berserker did a lot, but without the Berserker, it still does a lot. So I'm excited to see what he does for that. And I'm just kind of curious about the Umbreon, too. I want to see if he can make that into a good mon in our minds, in my mind at least. And yeah, he's the number 2 team for a reason.
Yeah, the synergy on here is just insane.
Yeah.
I kind of criticized the Seismitoad pick first because they didn't have a big rain setter, but overall, I think looking at the team as a whole, I think it really rounds it out very nicely. And just like I said earlier, the synergy on here, you don't really know what he's going to bring because there's just so many awesome combinations that can just wreck house.
I think that he picked Seismitoad a little too early, and I think that he could have got an even stronger team if he waited, because I don't think anyone was going to pick Seismitoad, or if it was going to be late. I think he picked it third round.
Yeah.
So I think that was a little. I think that's a little eager for that for a mon that's 4 times weak to grass, with a lot of very good grass mons like Rillaboom and stuff like that out there.
But if you look, he's still got 4 S tiers.
Yeah.
So he still has strong top 4 S tiers, even investing that 3rd round draft capital in Seismitoad.
Yeah. And Seismitoad is bulky, but it dies to any grass move. That's the only downfall. So he's got a couple of 4 times weak mons to certain things, but overall, I think he's got a very solid team.
100%.
All right, and then our number 1 team for season 3, preseason at least, is the St. John Seals in the coach Alpaca. Alpaca gave everyone a run for their money last season. He surprised a lot of people with his play style, and he's kind of come to his own from what I've seen in terms of how he grew last season as a player. I think he struggled a little bit early on, but really it was a team that I think a lot of people feared playing on late. He actually took down both people that were in the finals 2-0 in the regular season. So I think that's a very good sign for him. And then starting off with the strongest team according to Fox is, again, it's definitely scary. And I would 100% agree. I think this is by far the strongest team. He's got some of the scariest, strongest cores. He's got the Dragapult with the Arcanine with the beat up potential. Arcanine is probably one of the best, if not the best, fire type user, just because it gets intimidated. It's got insane coverage, player off, wild charge, flare blitz, close combat. You name it, it's got it for the most part. And having that with Dragapult is really good. And then
it's just silly.
Yeah, it's really just insane. And then he's got the Excadrill for that steel type coverage that Dragapult needs, being weak to Fairy, and he can pair that with Gigalith, the Sand user. So that's a very strong combo. He's got the Jellicent. He's got the I think Sigilyph can set up Trick Room, but he's got the P2 to set up Trick Room. So he's got multiple Trick Room setters that are very strong.
Sigilyph and that Trick Room.
And
so Sigilyph, P2, and Jellicent.
Yeah, I know Gigalith can't set up Trick Room.
Oh, no, I thought you said Jellicent.
Yeah, Jellicent can. Jellicent, Sigilyph, and P2.
Yep.
So he's got super strong Trick Room setters, and then they're bulky as well, especially Jellicent and P2. And then Gigalith just is an abuser in Trick Room. It's so strong, so bulky. And he's got the Fairy coverage with Sylveon. He's got Crobat for Tailwind. Can't be faked out. It's very strong. And then I think either Surfetch is a kind of a sleeper pick for a C tier. We saw Surfetch kind of put in a lot of work early on in the Pokemon VGC series. I think namely series like 2, 3, and 4, if not mistaken. Before P2 Clef was really a thing, I think a lot of people were messing with Surfetch, and it has a lot of potential. Especially with its high crit chances. It can be used, and I think he can have some fun with that. So I'm really interested to see how this team does. But I think it's by far the best. I think it really is.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I gotta agree. The top 3 picks in Dragapult, Excadrill, Arcanine, elite picks right there. Those are 3 strong Pokemon that pair well together. And then you got the Gigalith in the later rounds. You got the P2 on the team, which is just such a bulky Pokemon. You need to bring that the fighting type move. So again, one of the 16 needs to be a move to knock out the P2. So that's something he needs to take advantage of when he's prepping for the opponents, because he knows the opponents needs to bring a move to stop the P2. Surfetched, I love the animation on Meteor Assault. So again, I hope we see that at least once this season. But yeah, I agree with this as the number 1 pick for this power rankings preseason. I absolutely agree. And he's a force to be reckoned with.
Tyros, what do you got?
All I gotta say is Alpaca is one heck of a drafter. This is the second time in a row that I think he was listed at number 1 in the leagues coming out of the draft, and his eye to grab cores is really good. He was picking number 2 overall, so he could have gotten sniped for Excadrill or Arcanine coming back around. And nope, he very good drafter in this team. It looks real scary. So I think I do play him this year, so that's not going to be fun. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't play him, thankfully.
Yeah, neither do I.
But yeah, he's got a very strong team. He's definitely going to put some L's on the board for some people. All right, so that's all 24 of the power ranked, all 24 of the teams that we power ranked. Fox power ranked them, so don't get mad at us. But yeah, so that's the preseason. Once games are being played, and we can kind of see who wins, who loses. A lot of the matches are being streamed. We encourage people to stream their matches. If you can't, that's not a big deal, but it gives people entertainment to watch, and it's a fun thing to do, to watch other people, how they play, see different tech, see things that you're not expecting. And I will be streaming my match with Koji and all my matches throughout the season. I know Koji streams, Tom streams, Tyros streams, Fox streams, Caleb, Alpaca. We have a couple guys that do stream, and I think some of the new players will also be streaming, which will be great to see. Again, we encourage it. You don't have to. But yeah, so from here, what I want to do is I want to actually go into the week 1 of the season, and I want to let me try to line this up. I want to go into week 1 of the schedule and predict some of these games, and who everyone thinks is going to win. I will say for our own teams, we won't pick a winner or loser. Just obviously we're going to pick ourselves, so I guess we can. So I guess to start off, we'll start with the East Division and then work our way down to the West. And starting off, it's me, the New England Pidgeots, versus the Carolina State War Turtles and the Coach Koji. I obviously have myself. I think I can win this match. I think it's very interesting. It's Sand versus Sun. So we'll see if I even decide to bring Sun, and if he decides to bring Sand. So who knows?
And this is a high-ranked matchup off the bat.
3 versus 4, yeah.
3 power versus number 4 power rank. So I'm excited for this match, and I'm glad both of you are streaming, right? You said Cody streams
we
as
will
well?
both be streaming. I think I'll be able to stream. I have family coming in, so I potentially might not be able to this week. But I'm hoping I do, and that's the plan for now.
Done and done. So yeah, that's something to look out for. And if you guys stream it, I'm definitely going to watch it.
Yeah, for sure. So who do you guys have? You won't offend me if you don't pick me, by the way.
I think I'm going with the newcomer, because I think when I was picking the games originally, I showed bias to the people I already know.
Yeah.
But now that I'm not, I think I'm going to pick mostly newcomers. If you ask me that question,
okay,
it's a newcomer.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
Didn't you also pick Fox in the championship this year?
Yeah, I ended up picking Fox in the championship this year.
All right, Tyros, what do you got?
I'm actually gonna pick you, because I think you win.
Let's go.
The speed. I think you win the speed game.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna be a big play in this matchup. I think Sand beats Sun, but the problem is that that you also have you also have Dragapult, and Dragapult just wrecks house on everything. And Jellicent. I think Jellicent could be a big role to help stop Sand too, as far as Trick Room and getting Excadrill kind of out of its element. So yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Okay. All right, so we'll move on to the next game. Stomp. I think Stomp thinks Koji will win. I can respect it. So we'll go on to the next game. Caleb and the Charlotte Vespiquen are playing the newcomer Oddball and the Orlando Oshawatts. I actually think Oddball Otter, the Orlando Oshawatts are going to win this game. I think that his team is a little stronger. I don't know his play style, but I'm confident in just based off of teams and the team preview. I think that he has a little bit more of an advantage. I think Whimsicott is a little too much to handle for Caleb's team. I think he can do too much. Has too much versatility for Caleb to answer.
Yeah, I think Caleb was one of the really low-rated teams at 22, and I think he's a good battler with a solid team. Oshawatts were rated number 7 in the power rankings. And again, if you guys stream them, I'm going to watch it. But I think Orlando Oshawatts are going to take this one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because he could do so many things with the Winscott Zapdos. He has a Min Shell, Fake Out Pressure. He has a Trick Room with the 4 Pokemon. So I think it's going to be a lot for Caleb to handle.
I agree. Tyros?
Yeah, I think the biggest matchup here that I have a problem with on Caleb's team is Rhyperior.
Yep.
He's inside Trick Room. Rhyperior is so slow, and it can just wreck so many things on Caleb's side of the house. And it does get stuff to hit Feeney pretty hard. So I think that's going to be his greatest hurdle is the Rhyperior. So I'm picking Oshawott as well.
Okay, so we got 3-0. Sorry, Caleb, but you're gonna have to prove us wrong. Hopefully, he usually streams his matches for you guys that are interested in watching. He's usually a weekend match player, I guess you'd put it, playing either Saturday or Sunday. But he does stream all his matches, and hopefully he streams this one so you can take a look at Oddball as a newcomer and seeing how he plays. And then next we got KD and the Detroit Dragapult versus Anti and the Unknown Abstract. I remember KD's team based on what we just went over for the power rankings, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember Anti's team. So based off that, I think I'm just gonna go Detroit Dragapults. I forget what's on Anti's team.
What I want to talk about. Anti's team is Cinderace, Alecki, Lapras. I think overall it matches up very well into what the Detroit Dragapults are trying to do. So I'm going to go Anti in this one. I don't know either of these guys. I'm excited to see how they play. And if they stream, I will watch. But again, I think Abstract Unknown matches up well into the Detroit Dragapults here. And I think Anti is going to take it.
I can respect that. Tyros?
I'm going with KD. I think Spectrier is going to play a bigger role here, more, not as an attacker, but more a support role. Lots of Anti's heavy hitters are physical. So Spectrier throwing out fast Will-O-Wisps, I think could be really strong. And I think Mimikyu is also looks pretty decent here as well.
See, I think he's going to use Spectre as more of an offensive threat here. I think it's too fast not to, but he's got to watch out for that and Lucky for sure.
Yep.
All right, so next we have Silverbroom versus Sitting Ducks. Silverbroom's New York Rilla versus Sitting Ducks and number 17's team. I have Silverbroom here pretty much based off of Fox's hype over him. I know they're boys, and I know he has very good things to say about Silverbroom in terms of his match and play style, and he's a good. He does well in just BDC. And I had said this before. I'm not a very big fan of number 17's team as a whole. I think there are a lot of individually good parts, but not they don't synergize as well. So I'm going to take Silverbroom here.
And that's why I picked Silverbroom, the second part.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that Fox vouches for him as a great battler. So, yeah, everyone notch that down, too, that you do not want to play the New York Rillaboom this season. So that's good to know.
I think it'll be closer than people think, but I think that I think they have that. Silverbroom has this one. What do you got, Tyros?
I'm going 17.
Okay.
I'm going 17. I really like actually kind of really like Crobat and Urshifu combo. You can get a Tailwind up and then Urshifu hitting what's it called? Lando. I think that would be super cool. Maybe even bringing in something like a Ninetales that gets the Amoonguss out of the way, throw up an Aurora Veil. I like 17. I think you can do some cool stuff against Silver's team.
Nice.
All right, so next we got Tom and the Amoonguss Bus versus United and in the New Jersey Rumble. This one is probably, in my opinion, and I was looking at this before, I think this is the closest match out of the first week because United has the Charizard, which is super strong, but Tom's got the Gigalith, or not the Gigalith, the Colossal. So they kind of, I think Tom wins that battle, but I'm gonna go on a limb and say United wins this. I think that he has a lot of very bulky, very strong Pokemon that are kind of hard to prep for, and I don't think necessarily Tom has I don't think there's not a lot of answers he can do for some of them. I think it's just matchup wise. I think it depends on what is brought. I think that's what it comes down to. If both teams prep and bring certain mons, I think one has a distinct advantage, and I think that United is gonna. I think United is gonna have a very good season. I really like his team, so that's kind of why I'm gonna go for him. And plus, you didn't choose me, so I'm picking him.
I love that. I love that.
Tyros?
Oh man, I completely agree with what you said, Bhanny. I think this is a straight up matchup battle, depending on who brings what, and like that's gonna pretty much decide it. Both of them, you can prep for a bunch of stuff on either side, and if you prep the wrong way, you're screwed. I think I'm gonna pick Tom because I think he's gonna bring something abstract that United's not ready for, and I think that's gonna be my play.
You're his practice partner. You should know.
Yeah, I've actually been practicing with Snob and Jolt so far. I haven't practiced with Tyros yet.
Okay, interesting.
So,
Tom, what do you think about this matchup?
So I'm excited for it. Again, the Charizard versus the Cole versus the Vish versus the Rillaboom. There's a lot of things going on. He has the Indeedee Alakazam. He has so many strong combos, as we talked about earlier. So it's like, of course, I think I'm going to win. And I think it's going to be a close match. But I'm excited for this one. I really am excited for this one. So, of course, I'm going to pick me. And
I see
hope
that.
I win and start the season 1-0.
So, breaking news. You guys ready? So,
Yes.
Anti has just used his last 2 trades of the entire season. He traded Gudra for he traded Dracozolt for Gudra, and Hippowdon for Heliolisk. I haven't looked at his team, but I'm not sure how that fits in. But it is very difficult, in my opinion, to get rid of all your trades so quickly because now he has no way to trade for Pokemon if he doesn't have an answer for something. That's a disadvantage. Very risky, but
Wait, what were the trades again?
Dracozolt for Gudra and Hippowdon for Heliolisk. So we talked about the Dracozolt and Hippowdon possibly getting rid of those. I'm not sure how I feel about the Heliolisk, but I like the Gudra pick. I think the Gudra is a very strong Pokemon. Even though I don't even know what it's pairing with right now, Gudra's super strong. It's bulky. It's hard to kill. Really is. And then also Tank traded Malamar for Escavalier, which. I mentioned before, I wasn't going to say which Pokemon could be good for him to pick up. This is literally the exact Pokemon I was thinking of. On your team last year. It was on my team last year. It has like base 20 speed. It's super slow. It's super strong. It's got great abilities in Overcoat and there's Shell Armor, so it can't get crit. We just lost Tyros, but let's see. What do you say? Okay, yes, fun. Get off phone call. But yeah, that's. I think that's a great pickup. I think that puts him in a really good position in terms of like now he can really abuse the trick room that he has. I think that's a great pickup.
I absolutely agree with you. I like both the trades. I know you're not as fond of the first one.
No, I like the Gudra. I don't like the Heliolisk.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
I like the Gudra. I don't like the Heliolisk.
Oh, the Heliolisk is the Sun Abuser. That's what it is.
Okay, is he a Sun team? I don't remember.
Yeah, he has the Cinderace, and then he has the. I actually just went upstairs to grab my phone charger real quick, so I'm not looking at the teams immediately.
Let me try to find it.
But he has a Cinderace, and he can set the Sun.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, that works then. All right, so we'll go back to the predictions for week 1. We got Jinx Jolt playing Windows P2, and Jolt's ranked really low here, and I think that he's not going to be happy with this, but I'm going to pick Windows P2. I knocked his team for not having much coverage, but dude, Glacier is so strong, and he's got the redirection, he's got the Pheromosa speed swap, and it's going to be too much for Jolt to handle. I'm sorry, Jolt, but I think it's going to be too hard to handle for you, for a lot of people. But I really hope you prove me wrong. I hope that you have a really good matchup there, and I hope you prep enough for it.
Yeah, I've been helping Joel prep a little bit, and I think he's ready for it. But it's hard to stop, and getting that, if Twerk gets that Trick Room up, it's not going to be fun for Joel.
Yep. So Joel just changed his pick from Koji from me to Koji. So he might be a little mad at my pick. But Alpaca is saying Jolt's got the tech, so we never know. I think Jolt will come with something that's unexpected that can deal with that. But I think that we just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a good matchup. A lot of these are going to be good matchups. Again,
yeah.
If the people stream them, I will watch them.
So last season, if you aren't aware of how last season went, I went 9-2 overall in the regular season last season, and I lost my very first game to United, actually. And I will say week 1 is probably the hardest week to play because you don't know the play style of your team. It's a new team. You got to get used to it. You don't know how other players are going to play. We have new players this season, so you don't know any play styles like that. So week 1 is going to be pretty crazy, I think. It's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of picks that we're picking that aren't going to, people aren't going to win that are expected to, which I think makes it really fun. All right.
Yeah, if you go off our rankings, we got some underdogs. We got, actually, no, Silver's the only underdog we have winning so far, consensus.
Okay.
Whereas we pick favorites from the power rankings.
I'm not even looking at the power rankings. I'm literally just looking at this roster, or this schedule. All right, okay. And then...
Yeah, I wrote down the number next to it. We got the 1 versus 14 next.
All right, so then for the West, we got Alpaca, Alpaca, and then we have Bananas. So the St. John Seals versus the Atlanta Dunsparce. And I've got to go with Alpaca. His team is just straight up too strong. I've never seen Bananas play, but his team is just... I don't think it really matters who you are. I would probably pick Alpaca. It's just so good.
That's exactly how I feel too.
And there's no hate on Bananas' team, because I think he's got a very strong team as well. But I just think that Alpaca, watching him play last season and watching him grow as a battler and seeing how, I think he got a lot better. I really did. And his team's really good. So yeah, I think that's a pretty easy pick. And then next we got Vegas Victini versus the Arcanine Wolves, with Fox versus Andrew. And again, I got to go with Fox. He's made the finals the last 2 years in a row. He's probably one of the more consistent battlers in the league. And I think that he's got a very, very strong team. It's got some weak points for sure, but it's very strong. And I think he's going to come with a very strong plan, and I think he's going to take this one.
Yeah, I think I'm going with Arcanine Windows. He has a terrain and
you mean Arcanine Wolves?
Oh yeah, Arcanine Wolves. I combined the P2.
Yeah, you combined them.
Okay, no, the Arcanine Wolves. What's it called?
I love that. He's got the Coal.
The Rillaboom Coal. He has a Rillaboom and the Colossal.
I think that'll create some problems for sure. And I know you're a big favorite of the Colossal. You got it on your team, so.
And I have Rillaboom too.
Yep. You guys got very similar teams, so I can see how you're liking that team.
I'm loving that team. So yeah, I think I'm going to pick him in this matchup.
For sure. I can see that for sure. All right, and then next we got the Texas Tornadoes with Snom versus the Gold Coast Go-Goats in Arceus. This is a match I'm not really sure, so I'm gonna refer it to you first, and I'm gonna base my pick off of what you say.
I'm going with Snom. I've been helping Snom prep.
Okay.
And he's just such a good battler. There's not much, even though the Gold Coast Go-Goats, right, they're the number 13 ranked team. They have a lot going for them. They have the Pincurchin with the terrain. They got the Hawlucha to abuse it. They got the Simeon with the potential mind-blown self-destruct, Azumarill Misty Explosion stuff. They got the Lapras Comfey combo. They got the Snorlax for the Trick Room if they get into that. Only Comfey is their only Trick Room setter though, so that's something to watch out for. But Snom is very good, and I think he's going to come out swinging this year.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'm gonna go with the Gold Coast Go-Goats actually, because of the amount of flying types that Snob has, and that Comfey Lapras is going to be very difficult for him to deal with. I think, especially after he gets Veil up with the Max Resonance. I think that's going to be a lot of issue for him, and it'll be interesting to see how it happens. If I know you said you had help, you helped him prep a little bit, so I think he'll have a good plan going in. But that's what I'm going to pick.
I haven't been writing down your picks. Have you been writing down your picks?
No.
I'm curious to see how we do next season. I'm writing a check mark next to my picks before we do this. So,
I can tell you my picks again if you want them.
What's it called? Yeah, I'm going to watch this back and see how our picks do.
Okay, yeah, that's actually pretty cool. If you do that, we can do it week to week.
Yes, I would love to do that too.
All right, so next we got the LA Lapras with Tank versus Dialga's Demons Jax. This is a very close match, I think, as well.
10 and 11 seed.
Yep. So I think it's also up in the air. I think because that speed that Tank just got as Cavalier, I think he's going to take this one.
That you think that's the difference maker?
I really do. But actually, no. Actually, I'm going to change my pick. I think Dialga's Demons is going to take this. I'm looking at his team and it's just up and down. It's got the Dusclops Glacier. It's got the Moltres Raichu, Cinderace. It's just so good. I think it was rated a lot lower than it should have been.
I think 10 and 11 is pretty good.
I think
what's it called?
Swamp.
Jax's team is very elite though.
I agree.
Yeah. I think the Cinderace is something to watch out for too. I think I'm going Jax as well, actually. I don't know either of these guys. Good luck to both of them. I do like the Indeedee as a redirection and range setter. So he's going to get a Trick Room if he wants to get it up.
I mean, they both want to get Trick Room up.
Glacier is on the opposing side. So do you want to get that Trick Room up, really? I don't know. So that's going to be interesting to see how this
It's the toss-up, man. I think Escavalier. I think it's a great pickup for Tank. It kind of walls Glacier.
I agree. I think that Escavalier pick, nice snag by Tank. I think that could totally be a difference maker.
I've changed my mind 2 times. I'm going back to Tank. Put me down with Tank.
You already got it in the Google Docs. You're awesome.
That was Fox. Fox did that for me. I'm actually doing 4 things at once.
I was going to say, that's impressive that you got it in the Google Docs already.
Yeah. That's how I was able to get the breaking news out. All right. So the second to last team or match are the ABQ Ice-Q and the Canberra Charmanders. This is also, I think, 6 versus 2?
2. Yep. High-seeded teams on the power rankings.
I think Alice is going to take this one. I think Alice is too good.
Yeah, it's hard to go against Alice. It really is.
Mm.
I think Jade's got this one. Nothing against Yama. I don't know you. I know Jade. And I think I gotta go Jade.
I think Alice is a very good player.
Rankings is that difference maker. The number 1, 2, 3. I don't think you can pick against him in the first week, even though I did pick against 3.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. And then finally, sorry. Go ahead, Tyros.
I didn't even do that. Nice.
I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go with Jade too. I think he brings. I think Seismitoad can kind of wall his water guys, and then Torkoals I think can do some awesome things with. Torkoal, Charizard, Whimsicott, and Guja can try and kind of like run the field in the sand if it needs to. Changing it over to Sun.
I think the prankster Sunny Day is going to come in very nice in this matchup.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and then finally we have Buffalo Scissor against the Berkeley Bulbasaur, which
So you
I
had the 8
think
versus
is
24.
8 versus 24. I gotta go with Tyros. I think Tyros is a better team, just straight up. Nothing against Berkeley Bulbasaur, but I think we kind of have to wait and see how he plays to kind of get a better sense of if he can hang with the top teams. I think Tyros has got one of the top teams, so I think he's going to take this one.
Yeah, Tyros, he's proven that you shouldn't pick against him. So, I'm again, Pops' team is very curious to me because you've got the Tapu Fini with the Misty Surge, and then the 2 G-Max Mons want to put you to sleep or paralyze or poison you too. So, it's the Trick Room setters are so quick. Marowak is slow, but not as slow as a lot of stuff. So, I'm just curious to see how this shakes out for Pops this season. And yeah, I think Tyros is going to take this one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's all 12 matchups.
Let's see. Yeah, so that's all 12 matchups. So here we will predict potential playoffs. So we'll pick each 6 teams from each division.
I'm doing this. Why? Okay.
So this is on the
I
fly.
like
So does someone want to go? Tom, do you want to go your prediction for the East?
United.
Okay, United.
I'm guessing I can't. No.
You pick 6 of them. No particular order.
Oh, I don't pick the order, so I'm definitely going United. I'm definitely going myself then. Oh wow. I think KB and Koji.
That's 4.
I can't. The former champ Haney.
Okay.
Getting the 5th spot. And then I don't know if I want to go. Oh, this is hard for the 6th slot. Yeah, I like Katie and Koji's. Actually,
So you've got United, KD, Koji, me,
take
and
Katie
yourself.
off of there. I'm sorry, Katie. Take Katie out of there.
Okay.
I was looking at it, Cartana. Without Cartana, I'm taking them out of there.
So you're back at 4?
Yeah, back. No. Yeah, I guess I'm back to 4. United, myself, Koji, you. Oh, this is hard.
Got 2 more.
Silver,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to be honest with everyone. It's between Jolt and P2, Little Smart. And I think I'm going to give the notch to Jolt.
Okay, so we got United, Jolt, me, and Pidgeots, you in the Amogus Bus, Koji in the War Turtle, and Villaboom with Silver Room. Tyros, you want to go?
That's hard. I'm sorry to everyone I didn't pick. I wanted it to be known.
Yeah, this is not
And I literally was looking at all the teams going off the fly. It's no offense to anyone.
Nope. Yeah, no, we're not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. These will most likely not be the people that make the playoffs. It's just predictions.
So I have Bhanny, Lil Smurf, Koji, Tom, and United.
That's 5.
And Silver. Sorry.
Okay. All right. And then me, I will.
I'm gonna write them down.
Bhanny, Smurf, Koji, Tom, Silver, United.
So I also. So
the only difference is Jolt and who?
What?
Wait, who did you pick instead of Jolt again? I just wrote it down. I can't even read my handwriting.
Lil Smurf.
Little Smurf. Okay. Forgot the F.
All right. So I am going to pick myself. I'm going to pick United as well. I'm going to pick KD. I'm going to pick New York Rillaboom. And I'm going to pick 2 more in Tom. And I'm going to branch out and say Orlando Oshawatts.
I like that. He was like the one that I left off between Jolt and Smurf.
Mm-hmm.
It was the third one that I left off. I really like his team. But yeah, I think
My picks were
Articuno
based.
and Jolt.
My picks were, no, like I said, like Tom said, no offense to anyone that I didn't pick. I don't think you have bad teams. I don't think you're bad players. I picked my picks based off of how I think you are as a battler. If I know you, if I played you before, I think I know. So if Silver Moon's supposed to be a really good battler, I played Katie before. I think he's very solid. Tom's got a very good team. I think he's a solid battler. I think United is a very, very good battler, and I think he's got a very good team this season. And I think I've never seen Orlando Oshawatts play. I've never seen Otter play, but I think he's got a very solid team, and I like his team a lot. So that's why I picked my 6. And then we'll go in reverse order. I'll pick the West first.
Looking at the draft sheet right now, just going off the fly. And do you want to snake draft this? Haney, do you want to go first for the West?
Yeah, I'll just do the West. I think the West is a little easier to determine. I think
Okay.
this is just my opinion. So I think I got the St. John Seals. I think we got the Canberra Charmanders. I think we got the Buffalo Scissor, Vegas Victini, the Agos Demons, and I'm gonna go say Los Angeles Lapras. After that Escavalier pick, I really like it.
Yeah, wow. Tyros, you there?
Yep, I'm here. I have the Seals, Charmanders, Victini. No, excuse me.
I'm really hoping that you leave yourself off just for the meme. Just forget about it.
Yeah, I was gonna leave myself. So we couldn't pick ourselves at first. But if we
No,
pick
you got to
ourselves,
pick yourself. You gotta have confidence. Pick yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's the Iskew.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yama with the Ice Cube.
I think that's it.
So I got the Seals, the Charmanders, Fox,
One more.
and Yamba. Unless you said a 6, I missed it.
You haven't said yourself.
The team Demons.
Yeah, no, he said himself.
Did he?
Yeah.
I have the Seals, Charmanders, the Scissors, the Bikinis,
Oh, okay.
the Ice Cube, and now the Demons is the last one.
Yep.
And I'm going pretty standard with the first 4 you guys said.
Mhm.
I think Jade, I think Alpaca, I think Tyros, and I think Fox. You guys all proved last year that we shouldn't pick against you unless you give us a reason to, and you haven't given us a reason to this season. So I think all 4 of those guys are going to make the playoffs. So that really leaves a lot of the new guys in the last 2 slots. And then I'm not even going to pick a new guy. I'm going to pick Snom as my 5th because I think he's going to come out swinging.
I can respect that.
And then I think Andrew with the Arcanine Wolves is my 6th pick.
Okay.
Yeah, because I really like Andrew's team. I've said it a couple of times now. And I like the top 2 picks. Well, the top 3 picks because I have 2 of those 3 as well in Real Cole.
Okay.
So I really like his team, and I'm excited to see what he does with it.
Interesting. All right. And then one more thing, and I'm going to reiterate this now. I'm going to try to reiterate it a little later. And I'm sorry if I'm being annoying in the Discord, pinging everyone. But it's very important that we get this right as we go through the season. Reporting your stats. So it's very important you report your stats after you play your match, which is very simple. You just go to the report match stats tab in the Discord, and then just post the stats. So here's an example. We have Tyros' team defeating my team 2-1. So you play a best of 3. So you tell you what the score was. So either 2-0 or 2-1. And you name your team. Put your kills or your Pokemon that you brought, all 6. You don't bring any other details except for that detail, and how many Pokemon they killed. That's it. Same the other side. Your opponent's team. The amount of the Pokemon they brought, the amount of kills. That's it. And
this is different from last year because we don't need who kills who.
yeah, we don't need who kills who. We're keeping it very simple. So it should be very easy to do something as simple as this. You type in your kills, or you type in your Pokemon, your opponent's Pokemon, all 6 of them they brought, and the amount of kills each one killed. So yeah, that's a very easy way to do this. And you just post in the report match stats tab. And I will say that you can kills only count for opposing teams. That's being said, so you can't kill yourself. Basically, it doesn't count as a kill for someone if you kill yourself.
You should reiterate the weather and the residual damage
Yes.
stuff here.
So residual damage. So like if Cole gets a kill with Vocalith, it counts as a kill for Cole Colossal. Same with like Venusaur. Same with the Charizard. If they get the final blow for the residual damage, then it counts. If you hit a Pokemon with Focus Sash, and then that Pokemon dies to Sand, whoever set the Sand gets the kill unless it's that Pokemon's ally. So like if it's Excadrill with Gigalith next to it, if someone hits the, well I guess it wouldn't work, but just for the hypothetical, if let's just say Excadrill and Ninetales in this example, you knock Excadrill down with Sash and it dies to Hail, you don't get a kill there with Ninetales because it was on its team. It has to be the opposing team that you get a kill.
Oh, wow, that's a good specification. Okay.
Blowing things up, explosion or self-destruct. If you kill your
Mind blown.
mind blown. If you kill your teammate,
my kill death ratio last season.
Yeah, if you kill your teammate, it doesn't count as a kill for that Pokemon. It's only opposing Pokemon. Same with items. Life Orb, recoil that can cause deaths. I had some last season. We've had some in the past. It doesn't count for a kill. Sometimes it sucks that you die to Life Orb recoil, and the opponent gets out in a kill, but that's how it is. We try to discourage leaving matches early, but it's part of it to save info.
Who would get the kill for the Life Orb recoil? I thought it would just count as no kill.
No kill.
Yeah.
But yeah, so try your best to keep these stats. Everyone should keep it. We would prefer the winner posts, but either player can post hopefully both these matches, or both the stats as the matches end. And if you stream, it makes it a lot easier because I can rewatch them and do them myself if you forget. But if you don't stream, it's a big responsibility to stay on top of it. And if you have any questions, you can DM me, you can DM Fox, you can just type in general and people will answer because we have a lot of players returning that have experience with all that stuff, so keep that in mind. Anything else, Tom and Tyros, before we wrap it up?
I think we've covered a lot, and I'm so excited for the season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be very fun. When do you guys play?
I got it right in front of me. Week 9, the last week of the season.
No, but when do you guys play this week? What do you have a time set?
Oh, my bad. That's quite funny. But I'm playing Friday at noon.
You said Friday at what?
I'm playing. Yeah.
I'm
playing Friday at 9:00
PM?
Correct. PM.
Okay, Tom, when did you say you were playing?
Friday at noon, 12 Eastern time.
Okay.
I've noticed a lot of games on Friday.
Everyone's playing Friday. I'm playing Friday as well. Or at least we're trying to. If I get too busy with family stuff, then I might not be able to. But the plan tentatively is to play it Friday, probably around 8, give or take 15-20 minutes probably.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah, Joel said fight nights. Let's go.
Yeah, so Friday fight night. I like it.
So yeah, everyone, just want to wish you guys a good luck this season. Have fun. Don't get too upset when you lose. Don't get too cocky when you win. Have fun with it. And yeah, any last words before we sign off?
If anyone needs help practice battling, if I can help, I will.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Same.
try to schedule it. So yeah, let me know.
Same.
And I'm sure me and Tyros, there's plenty of guys. So send it in general. And yeah, there's a good community we got here. So thank you for everyone that joined. Thank you for everyone that's in the league. And I'm excited. And Tank just said he's playing Saturday 2 p.m. Eastern. So who does Tank play again? Wait, I got him right over here.
Jax, I think.
So that's Tank versus Jax. So that's a good matchup. Saturday too.
Yes, sir.
Luck to everyone and have fun. And yeah, that's it for me.
If you guys practice with someone from the league, when you practice with them, don't tell anyone else what their strats are, or try to make it just an advantage for someone else. Try to keep it very fair. If you practice, like if I practice with Tom, whoever's playing Tom, I'm not going to go out and say like, hey, make sure you prep for this because this is what Tom's bringing. Or if they ask, hey, can you practice with me? Just make sure you say, hey, I've already practiced with Tom. I can't practice with you. Sorry. And someone else will definitely love to
And
practice. We have so many players.
Last season, where I practiced with United a lot, I practiced with Tyros a lot, and they were playing each other in the playoffs. And I was like, guys, I don't want to practice with either of you because I know what a lot of you guys would do. You know, like I know what you guys have been doing all season. I might accidentally give the other person an advantage that I don't mean to, because you guys were by far the two people I practiced with the most. Just try to be courteous. Try not to give anything, even if it's accidental.
Don't be toxic. Be courteous to people. Respect them. Treat everyone with positivity. And for people that are streaming, when you're playing them, don't stream snap them. Have some integrity. And if you get caught stream snapping, then you're gonna get a loss and might get kicked out of the league. I don't know. We'll kind of come to that if it happens. We haven't had anything like that yet, but I trust everyone in the league to not do that. It's supposed to be for fun. Not everyone can put a delay on their stream. If you're not partnered, you can't have a delay. But yeah, just don't snipe. Just have some integrity. You can watch the VODs after, and just have fun. We're all trying to be positive here. Again, I'm sorry for all the pings in the chat, but I really just want to reiterate a lot of the things that kind of get brought up over the course of the league, and I want to try to make this as smooth a ride as possible. But yeah, I have nothing else. If you guys have anything else before I sign off, feel free. And yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun, and I'd love to do weekly things.
Yeah, we can figure out something to do something more like weekly. Okay, and then also Tom, you mentioned making a schedule tab. I can make a schedule tab if other people are want a scheduling tab as well. I originally thought that DMing would be just fine. I can make a schedule tab.
Not for everyone to use. I meant for like when we have the match. Like I know I'm playing United Friday at 12. We would put Tom versus United Friday at 12. That's all that would be in there.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. I can make a tab for that.
Then yeah, we could add Hank, Jack Saturday at 2.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
Stuff like that. But DM everyone to schedule your match, and then when it's scheduled, put it in there. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so I'll make the schedule tab. Don't do it to don't
spam it. Yeah, just put
spam and figuring out times and everything in there. Do that on your own DM thing. But
once it's scheduled.
Yep. Once it's scheduled, do put that in there. If anything comes up where you guys can't battle or you need extra time, an extra day or two, Sunday comes around and you can't, and something comes up and you want to battle Monday or something, just DM me. We're pretty cool about that, and we usually let things slide. If it's something where you can't battle at all and you won't ever be able to make it up, then we'll kind of come to that bridge when we cross it. But it'll most likely a loss will probably fall on the person that canceled. But we try to make everything work out here. So yeah. Tyros, you got anything before we go? Yeah, no, it definitely was fun.
Thank you for everyone who watched. I hope it helps some people. I know it helped me just prepping for this and talking about all the teams. Definitely helped me going into all my matches going forward, I feel like.
Yeah, I really enjoy listening to what people say about my team, about other teams, and I think it helps when people like prepping in terms of like, oh, I wasn't thinking about certain things before, but like now I am, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, all right, guys. I'm gonna stop this recording, and then I'm gonna end the stream. Thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to most of you in the Discord, and if you haven't, if someone wants to link to the Discord, if there are some new players here or new people that are interested, feel free to link the Discord. It's a great community, and yeah, we're just trying to have some fun here.
Yep.
All right, guys, take it easy. I will see you guys later. So I'm gonna stop this recording.